Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're ready for part two of our Reading FC Hall of Fame this evening with Star. And we're moving into the 1990s, and this is Dylan Kerr, a crowd favourite at fullback. From 1993 to 1995, he played left back, made 84 appearances, 5 substitutions, and 5 goals.
One of the most popular players in the Mark McGee era, on a short but glorious day, won the third-tier title, player of the season, got in the PFA 11 for that season, and helped us finish at our highest point yet in the football the following season. He trademarked a shirt over the head goal celebration after some very stylish strikes, and in recent years he's still come to watch us, which I think is really great because he's a Leeds lad originally, but he's really got into the swing of being a Reading supporter, as you will now hear.
Hi guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to apologise for not being there in person to receive this fantastic award. I mean, being inducted to the Reading Hall of Fame is just an honour, you know, and to join the elite group of players that are already in it. And let me say, Parkinson and Judge should never have been in it before me. Alright, Judge, not Parkinson. But I'd like to say thank you to everybody that's made this happen. You know, it's a fantastic club, it's a family club, it's always been a family club, and I became part of that family, and you became a part of my family. Not just at Elm Park, but the whole of Reading. You know, the memories I've had at Reading Football Club, the fantastic football that we played at Reading Football Club. It was just a pleasure to be involved with. Unfortunately, as you all know, or for those who don't know, I had an horrendous injury playing against, I can't remember the team we played against now, but it was an horrendous injury that kind of ended my career at Reading Football Club, and cut it short, should I say. But winning the championship that year, in my first season, and I wish I'd never listened to Mr. Stabler, because I had £10,000 signed on fee and Reading was 33 to 1 to get promoted, not become champions. And I remember walking down Oxford Street into Corals, and I was so tempted, but Brian convinced me it was better to be put in my PFA pension. So even though I'm not mathematically astute, you know, £10,000 times 33 to 1 would be £230,000 plus my 10 grand back at the time. So, but you know, I didn't know Reading Football Club at the time. Gordon Strachan told Mark McGee all about me. I was supposed to sign for Huddersfield Town, which quite funnily enough, you know, our first game was at Huddersfield Town and we won 3-0. And that's when I knew that I was at a Reading. You know, I was fortunate to play with some fantastic players and meet some old stars, you know, and that's what Reading Football Club was about. You know, and I've got so many memories, both on the field and off the field. You know, on the field we have so many personalities. Off the field, everybody was a personality. You know, the nights we spent in Washington Heights, in Balbon, at Curtains Farm, where I lived for a year, and a place just outside of Calcutta on the M4, I think it's Junction 12. Can't remember the place. Utopia. On my stag night, Sir John Medeski joined me on my stag night with all the boys, and we had such a good time that John decided he was going to buy 4 bottles of the best champagne. And when it came to paying for them, as you know, every rich person doesn't carry cash, doesn't carry cards. He did a runner. He left the club. So I said, John, I'm coming for my money. Seriously guys, ladies and gentlemen, again, apologies I'm not there. Paul Tanner is going to receive this award from me. Alex Bissett, who was with him, and Jane Waterhouse, who was supposed to come, but obviously James, if everybody knows Jane, she's absolutely doolally. She's a Duracell battery. She never stopped, but she got the dates wrong. Unfortunately, she's flying to Cyprus as we speak. And Sue Roberts, who everybody knows, she's Mrs. Reading, and unfortunately her brother passed away yesterday, so she can't attend. So thank you, Paul Jaffa Tanner, and if anyone wants to know why I call him Jaffa, you can ask him. And thank you for accepting this award. I'd like to thank everybody who was involved in this, Ron Grant, and all the people that put this award and put this event together. Thank you very much. I'm in Surrey, Pretoria. You can see where I am. I'm in my house, in my garden. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me this award. And it really, really, really means a lot to me. The one person I wish I could share it with is my mum, but unfortunately she passed away 3 years ago. But Mum, this is for you, I love you. And to all the Reading fans and all the Reading people that I've met over the years and still continue to meet, thank you very much, and I'm so honoured and so proud. And before I go, I'm just going to say, Dylan Kerr, oh Lord, Dylan Kerr. Have a great night, guys.
Hello once again, viewers of TK Solutions TV. My name is TK. I'm your host for Off the Pitch with TK. Today in studio we're joined by a coach. His name is Dylan Kerr. He coached Baroka FC, TTM, Swallows FC, and he also coached Simba SC in Tanzania and Goma here in Kenya. Help me welcome Dylan Kerr to our show. Coach Dylan, how are you?
TK, I'm wonderful. I mean, it's nice to be in the show finally.
Yeah.
But you forgot one team.
Which team?
Leopards.
Oh,
the Black Leopards.
This is the team that brought you back to this
team that brought me back to South Africa. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, you coached Leopards, TTM, and Baroka, Swallows here in South Africa.
Yes.
And some years back, you were assistant coach at Black Aces.
I was with Sammy Troughton in 2009, 2010 at Black Aces. Then
Yeah.
we went to Tanda Royal Zulu, and then I got offered an opportunity to go to Vietnam. So
Yeah.
I spent 3 years in Vietnam. Then I went to Burton Albion Development Academy under 18s. Then I ended up at Simba for 6 months. That was
Yeah.
a very, very good 6 months. But politics in football, you know, if you don't say the right things
Yeah.
or do the right things, then you know, especially in East Africa,
Yeah.
it didn't work out. And then I went back to Chesterfield Football Club to do academy
Yeah,
under
the under
18s
18.
again, and then I went to Goma here, who
Yeah.
I should have joined after leaving Vietnam in 2014, but I didn't think it was the right time for me to go there. And within 18 months, I won back-to-back championships and qualified with them in CAF to the quarter-final group stages, and won the Super Cup, which is the equivalent to the Nedbank Cup here. But more importantly, represented Kenya, the first Kenyan side, to play an English Premier League side in England when we were invited to Everton.
Yeah.
To play Everton Football Club in an organised friendly, which was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, so it's been a good journey, a long journey, but a good journey.
Yeah. But let's introduce you to somebody who doesn't know who's Dylan Kerr, because I believe you played in South Africa before and then you left. Who are you?
I'm Dylan Kerr. I was born in Malta, January the 14th, 1967. My mum and dad lived there. My dad was in the Navy, in the Royal Merchant Navy. I left when I was 18 months, went back to England, to a little mining town called Mexborough in South Yorkshire, surrounded by Doncaster, Barnsley, Rotherham and Sheffield. We were right in the middle. And since I was 5 years old, you know, I've wanted to play football. I've always wanted to be a footballer.
Yeah.
And I graduated school with my English and math. I don't know how, because I never studied. I was as soon as the school bell rang to finish, it was straight home, get changed, put the football boots on and play. Whether it was rain, snow or sunshine, I would play with my friends. And I got my opportunity, I got my big break playing for my dad's Saturday afternoon amateur team. And a local scout from Sheffield Wednesday offered me a trial at Sheffield Wednesday, and I was 16 years of age, which is a bit old to go for trials. Usually you're signed at 14 in England, or even 12 sometimes. And I did 6 weeks training with Sheffield Wednesday, and they offered me a 2-year contract. No, let me take that back. They offered me a 1-year contract, which was a youth training scheme contract. It was an initiative that the government paid a company or a football club to employ somebody like myself, and the government would pay the salary, not the club.
Okay.
But it was only for a year's contract, and then when I signed, after that year, I signed my first professional contract at Sheffield Wednesday at 17 years of age.
And tell me, Dylan, when you sign your first time contract, here in South Africa, most players we spoke to, they'll tell you when you sign your first contract, the money is always little, and they don't care about the money. They just want to make it a big break. How is it in England when you break into your first contract? How is it money wise?
The same. I mean, it was £25
Yeah.
a week.
£25 a week. Your first
a week,
contract.
my first contract. So,
Yeah.
and that didn't include the travelling, because I travelled a great distance. I would have to get a bus and then a train and then another bus to get to training. So 200 rand. So what's that? £100 a month is 2,000 rand a month. I was getting as a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Then when I signed professional forms, I was on £60 a week. So I went from £25 a week to £60 a week.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It's never been about money from then up until today. It's never about money. It's about the love of the game.
Yeah.
I've done something that millions and millions and millions of African kids are wanting to do every day, which is play football, which is join a PSL team or an ABC team, or an SABC team. It's something I've always dreamed of doing. And like I said, with a little bit of luck, I was in the right place at the right time. And true story, my dad phoned me this Saturday morning and said, would you come and play for my team today? And basically it was amateur. So it was like the lowest ranks of amateur. It's just like a Sunday league fixture in the townships. And I didn't want to play. I didn't want to play. I thought it was below me at the time. I thought, no. But he said, listen, and I didn't know that this scout was going to be there. Which was good, because if I'd known he would have been there, I'd have been nervous. I'd have been trying to impress.
Yes.
And I might not be sat in this chair with you now, because life's about decisions and life's about taking opportunities. And like I say, this gentleman was about 80 years old, former Sheffield Wednesday scout, and like I say, he invited me for trials. I went for trials, and 6 weeks into pre-season, I got offered that first year contract, and that was my start of my journey.
And your first visit, not your first visit per se, when you come here to work with Semi Troughton, how did you get here? Did he know you were you teammates before? How did he know you?
Well, when you do something in life, you always have to deal with the consequences, right? And when I was 17 years of age, I'd signed this professional contract. I was now Dylan Kerr, Sheffield Wednesday footballer, professional. And I got hooked into this lifestyle of parties and drinking and music. There were some very, very successful bands in Sheffield at the time, and I was I'm very passionate about my music.
Okay.
I love music, and what I did, I got involved with the likes of the Human League, ABC, and Heaven 17, who I'm still very, very close with. Heaven 17. You probably, not many people in South Africa probably, some of them will know, but not many people will know. But I got into this party scene, and I was going out as a 17-year-old into nightclubs and parties. And even though I was still training, I was still working hard, I got kind of sidetracked by this glamour, this glitz, this, I wasn't a celebrity, I'd not made an appearance. But I was always invited to different functions, different parties, and I felt a 17-year-old. Wow, I mean, there was girls, there was drink, there was more girls, and it was just wow. 17-year-old, and at the end of my year that I'd signed that 1-year contract as a professional, I was told that I wasn't getting re-signed. So my life has gone from there, and I mean, and it was you couldn't even open a hole and close it. It was that low. And for 6 months, I actually hand wrote 91 letters, because there were 92 teams in the old first, second, third, and fourth division, which is now Premier, Championship, League One, League Two. I hand wrote 91 letters, and I posted to all the clubs and asking for trials, and I got 7 replies. And the end of December, or the middle of December, I didn't know where I was going to go, because that was it. There was no other opportunities to go and train somewhere, or because as a trialist you're up against a lot of other people. As you know, in South Africa, you offer trials to teams, kids, adults. They all come. for just that one position. And I just didn't know where I was going to go. And then I got a phone call from the youth team coach at Sheffield Wednesday called Michael Hennigan. And he played here in the 60s for Bloemfontein Celtic.
Here in South Africa.
And there was the Stan Laporte, who was the Arcadia manager at the time. They were very, very good friends. And Michael was Stan's best man at his wedding to Barbara. And Stan had called him wanting a left winger or a left midfielder. And I was a left back at the time. And Stan called me I think it was the first week in January. And he said to me, and he's Scottish, so that Scottish accent.
Yeah.
All right, son, would you like to come play in South Africa? And I went, seriously? He says, yeah, would you like to come? And I went, can I have a couple of days to think about it? He says, no, I need to know tomorrow because we need to fly you out here because we're starting the BP top 8, which is now the MTN8 top 8. And we need you out here next week. And I said, oh, okay, let me speak to my mum and dad. And put the phone down. Now, this is the interesting story is my dad got offered a mining manager position in Zimbabwe when I was 12, and I refused to go. I wouldn't go. Now, the package and the lifestyle that my father got offered for me and my mum and my brother and sister, I mean, it was wow. I mean, the house, the car, the pool, you know, and it was a top paid job. And I wouldn't go.
You stayed behind.
I told no, I wouldn't. No, we didn't go. My dad turned it down.
Is it?
Yeah. And when I sat down with him, he says, and he was happy, but he was angry at the same time because 5 years before we could have been in South Africa, in Africa.
In Africa. And SADC.
And I said no, I'm not going. So my mum said no, we're not going. And I sat down with my mum and dad, and my mum, no, you can't go to South Africa. We didn't know what South Africa was like at the time. And I said, look, there's no other options. Anyway, that night we put on the news at 10, and obviously now there's news on every 24 hours. Yeah. But in England it was like the 6 o'clock news and the 10 o'clock news. And there was an incident I think it was at Ellis Park, where I think it's the Orlando Pirates chairman, or something to do with there was the NPSL became the NSL. There was a transition. And I think one of the coaches or one of the managers or one of the chairmen didn't like it. And it showed you this incident on Ellis Park where I think 80 odd people stabbed the chairman of Orlando Pirates. I think it was Orlando Pirates. But he was a big guy. Yeah. Big guy. So obviously it didn't kill him. No, my mum and dad going, no, you're not going there. Not a chance to play football. No. And then I said, look, no, I'm going. So that week I packed my bags. My mother gave me a wedding ring, which is on my finger and will never come off to this day, at Heathrow Airport. And I flew over, and that's when I met Sammy Troughton. And I had 3 amazing years at Arcadia Shepherds.
At Arcadia Shepherds.
Yeah.
Then that's how you get to know Sammy Troughton.
Yes, I mean, Sammy was a good-looking Irish kid. He got loads of confidence. I walked out to the airport, and I saw him standing there, and that was the start of a great relationship, and obviously my intention was to stay in South Africa, but also my intention was to go back and play in England. That was the dream. Yeah. I knew my mistakes I'd made, and I needed to find myself, and I became a better player having played here in the 3 seasons that I did in South Africa, especially playing with black players. I mean, the culture now in South African football, the talent that was on the field back in the day. I mean, you've got Thomas Hlongwane, you've got Max Mapanyane. I mean, these are a few. Yeah. Professor Ngubane and Asen Slingwe and Jomo Sono. Yeah. Those 3 could walk into Anfield, Old Trafford, Highbury and the Etihad. They could walk into them stadiums, and if they were given the opportunity back in the day, but obviously apartheid and the sanctions, they weren't allowed that. Teenage Gladler, you got obviously Gary Bailey, who came from Manchester United back to Kaizer Chiefs. got Shane McGregor, you've got Les Grobler, you've got Gavin Hunt,
Yeah.
you got Pizzo.
Yeah.
You got all these players. And my first season in South Africa, I was nominated in the top 10 Player of the Year awards. And
First season.
Yeah, first season, the likes of Thomas Langwani and Pizzo Mosamani, as well as Mark Anderson, who was the eventual winner. I believe I came second. You know, in that. Mark Anderson won it. And I think he won 250,000 rand. No, tell a lie, 25,000 rand.
At the
back
time.
in 1986. So you talk about money. I was earning 800 rand a month
800 rand a month.
in 1986, and the Player of the Year got 25,000 rand.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of money back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where me and Sammy became very, very good friends until he left to go to Mamelodi Sundowns. We still remain friends, but you know, obviously we lived together, we shared a car together, and then he went to sign for Sundowns, which was a great move for him, and I stayed at Arcadia, and I left to go to the UK on holiday and ended up staying.
Yeah. Then now, when you came back to assist him at Black Aces, you didn't stay long also.
No, unfortunately, in football, there's politics in football. You know, there's envy, there's greed, there's accountability, there's certain things that happen in the game that it shouldn't be allowed to happen. And when I joined, what happened was I'd not spoken to Sammy since December '88, and then in 2008, just through the internet, and just through trying to find Sammy, because there was no mobile phones, I didn't have Sammy's contact, didn't know where he lived. I knew he'd met a girl called Melanie and moved in with her. And then I saw a picture of him and Steve Barker at Tux. So I sent him a message, and then obviously Sammy had left Tux to join Black Aces. And we got chatting over the phone, and he said, would you like to come out to South Africa and, you know, come and do some coaching for me?
Yeah.
And I had a very, very good job in Scotland. I was the football development for the the West Islands of Scotland, which was amazing. Developing women's, girls, men's, boys football, and doing coach education. And I came for 2 weeks, and then Sammy said to me, would you like to be my assistant? Would you like to come back and be my assistant? So I phoned my boss, flew back to Scotland, and within a week, came back to join Witbank Black Aces.
Yeah. At the time.
Mpumalanga Black Aces now.
Yeah.
And it was a surreal kind of opportunity, because me and Sammy didn't have the best players. We didn't have the best squad. We didn't have the money to buy players that the likes of Pirates, Sundowns and Chiefs did. But what we did as homework. We brought in players. Sammy had brought in players that could play his brand of football, his style of football. But unfortunately, we had a CEO called Mark Gruner that wanted to be boss, that wanted to be the main man.
Yeah.
And he was introducing things that Sammy wasn't used to, you know, meetings and reports, which I would do. And Sammy didn't like that. You know, he wanted to be in control. We both wanted to be in control. But when there's somebody on the outside trying to get in, they will make up stories, they will report back. His job is to report back to the Morphu brothers. You know, and they actually fired Sammy, I think, too early. You know, and we were getting the results right, we were getting the performances right. And Mark didn't like it. He didn't like Sammy at all. You know, whether he liked me or not, I don't know. But he just didn't like the brand that Sammy was portraying, and Sammy was doing everything. You know, we were doing everything. And unfortunately, they let him go. And he went to, I think Peter Katroulis took him down to Tanda Royal Zulu with the Chicklesses, because they became part of ownership with...
Yeah, they became part of the ownership.
Yeah,
and by then, they were already bought out of Sundowns 100%.
Yes, and the Aki Akamidis came. You know, I wasn't given the opportunity to maybe take 1 or 2 games. I took 1 game against Sundowns. you know, we played brilliant. We were brilliant. We lost 2-0, but the performance of the team was absolutely. But Aki was in the crowd, and I was on the bench, and Stoichkov was next to me. I mean, you know, your first coaching debut is against Stoichkov.
Yeah.
You know, and for a man to come up and say, "Hey, we won the game, but you absolutely battered us." I mean, that was you know, such a proud moment for me. And I worked a week with Aki, and I just knew it weren't going to work. It weren't going to work. We were on different agendas. And then Sammy phoned me up and said, "Would I like to come down and work with him at Tanda?" So I flew down, and we continued that coaching relationship. Fortunately, Sammy got fired at Tanda again, outside influence, and he went to Nati Lions. Again, I rejoined him. Professor Ngubani got the job at Tanda, and I love Professor. I love him. He's probably my all-time favourite player.
Yeah.
You know, no disrespect to any other South African player at the time.
Yeah.
Jomo, sorry. But I didn't think it would be compatible that we worked together. I joined Nati. Sammy then left Nati. I took over, and I can't remember the coach that came in to work with me, but he basically killed me. He wanted the job, and you know, he convinced the owner. And then I left to go to Vietnam.
Let's go to East Africa, where I think you had a great success with Goma here. Is Goma here in Kenya, right?
Yes.
And it's a top team there.
It is there's two teams in, again, no disrespect to the other teams, but there's AFC Leopards and Gor Mahia. They're the two teams.
Yeah.
It's like the Chiefs and Pirates.
Yeah.
It's like Simba and Yanga in Tanzania.
Yeah.
So they're the top teams. They're the ones with the most supporters.
And you won the league there?
I went there in just after Christmas. The chairman wanted to win the league. We did that with, I think, 6 games remaining. And then the following year, we did it again with 6 games remaining. You know, so we'd won back-to-back titles. And the second year was more pleasing because we played AFC Leopards, big rivalry, and we had to win. If we won the game, we won the league. So it was a massive, massive game. And at half-time, just before half-time, we scored the second goal. The fans of AFC Leopards just ripped all the seats and threw them onto the field, and it was mayhem. It was mayhem. But the funny thing, one of the biggest Gor Mahia fans, Tom Buana, he phoned me that morning and he said, "What team are you putting out?" And I said, "Well, I'm putting my 3rd team out." And he went absolute mental. "No, you're disrespecting this game. You don't know how big this game is. It's our local rivalries. We cannot lose to this team." I said, "Don't worry, we'll not lose." No, I'm not happy. So he phoned the chairman, he phoned the directors. He didn't want to lose this game. He was that passionate. Well, you know what it's like, Celtic and a Chiefs and Pirates game.
Yeah.
They don't want to. It's bragging rights.
Yes.
And we won the game 2-0. And I phoned him afterwards and said, "You're okay now?" And you nearly give me a heart attack. And he's only I think he's about in his early 30s. Yeah. Tom, but to win the league, especially against AFC Leopards, in the manner that we did, with no disrespect to my players, it were basically my 3rd team that we put out against our local rivalries, and we qualified for CAF twice. We actually got knocked out by the eventual winners, which was ES Tunis in Tunisia. Yeah. And the disappointment in that is that we absolutely battered them and couldn't score. Yeah. Couldn't score. They got 1 goal. Which in Tunisia, you're not going to get a decision in Tunisia. No. Yeah. You know, and we lost the game 1-0. We could have won 2-0. We had 2 penalties brushed away.
Yeah. They ignored.
They were just typical when you're away. Yeah. But yeah, I had 2 very, very good years. Yeah. And then I got the opportunity to come to Black Leopards. Yeah. Now, about 6 weeks before that, I'd turned down Polokwane City. Polokwane City asked me, and I said no. You know, I didn't think the makeup of me and Polokwane City at the time was right. And then when we was in England playing Everton in that charity game, I got a phone call from Mr. Tidiela, and he asked me would I come and join his team in Toyando at Black Leopards.
Yeah.
And I wanted to come back. It was the right time to come back. I thought, can I do anything bigger and better at Gor Mahia than I've just done? No. Possibly the only thing is to either win Confederations or win
Champions
CAF.
League. Yeah.
The Champions League. And I decided to take the opportunity to come to Leopards, which was a great decision.
Now, when you arrived at Leopards, they were fighting relegation at the time.
Yeah. They were bottom of the league, 12 points.
Yeah.
They were written off. They were candidates for relegation.
Yeah.
100%.
And that says to me, sometimes if I don't know if I'm right or wrong, or it's a perception. If you come to, as a coach, let's say maybe people started seeing you when you were coming for Leopards now, because maybe when you were at Aces and Tandem, many people didn't know you then. If you come to save Leopards, the next team that you join is another team that you must save. The next team that you join is another team that you must save. That's how you come to South Africa as a coach. Makes you look like a relegation saving coach.
Yeah, look, it's opinions, it's reputations. It's an honour to do it 4 times.
Yeah.
You know? When I came to Leopards, the first game was against Wits. We lost 1-0. And I remember Mwape Masonda, my striker.
Yeah.
His body language was terrible. I mean, his shoulders were down, his head was down. And as he walked off the pitch, and remember I'm in the stand, in the dressing room, I went over to him and said, look, if you trust me and if you believe in me, I'll make you the top goal scorer. You'll finish top goal scorer. You'll win the Golden Boot. And I'd only been there a week, you know, and what did he do? He won the Golden Boot. He won the Golden Boot. But again, you know, the scenario is when you're at the bottom, it's very, very difficult to motivate players. You know, the players are looking for an excuse. Where's my bonus? I need money to win games when they're at the bottom of the league. You know, when they're at the top of the league, they expect a bonus. When they're at the bottom of the league, they demand a bonus. Right? And the chairman was 100% right. No, you know, I'm paying you. You're a paid player. You know, why should I give you a bonus if you're bottom of the league? If you lose, do I take money out of your salary? No. So we did it on the last game of the season. I remember Benny McCarthy was manager of Cape Town City, and he come up to me, and I know Benny off the field just as a coach, and he come up to me and said, I'm doing you no favours, because I think he wanted to finish third that year. He could finish third. So I'm not doing any favours. I said, listen, I don't want any favours. I said, I'm going to win this without any favours from you, from the referee. I'm going to win this game. And we won 1-0.
And you were playing in Toyando?
We were playing Toyando. It was full. It was full. We needed to win. You know, we lost, we relegated, we drew, we were in the playoffs. We needed to win, and we won the game. And I remember going to a meeting with the chair a couple of days later, and again through, you know, people wanting to do their way and do their things. I actually didn't like it. It didn't sound where I wanted to go with the club. And in that way I meant looking after those players that were in the team already, that were dedicated to Black Leopards, were dedicated to David Tidiela, that would have died for David Tidiela had he, you know, made sure that he looked after them in a different way from just giving them a contract. And when I went home, my mum was, you know, on palliative care, which means she was going to die any day. You know, so she was on end of life, as they call it, palliative care, which is end of life. And I decided that I wasn't going to come back to South Africa. I was going to spend the last days with my mum. At the time, it was like 2 or 3 weeks that she had. She lasted 4 months. So by the end of May, we thought she'd have left us, but it was the 6th of September. You know, so I actually spent some really, really good times with my mum. You know, in fact, I made her one comment one day. She was laying in bed, and she was moaning at me and she was complaining at me. I said, well, I'm not going to swear, but I said, Mother, just fucking die, won't you? and she laughed. She laughed, and you know, it was a hard. That was the worst experience I've ever been through. Getting fired is hard, and it hurts. But losing your mum, you know, that's the hardest thing in life.
Yeah,
you know?
I know the feeling.
Oh, I'm sorry, TK. I'm sorry, TK.
Yeah.
But and from then, you know, I again didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
You know, mid-September, October, November, and I decided that I needed to go back to America. I needed to go see my family and friends in America. And I went to America, and on Christmas Day, I got a phone call from my agent, Paul Mitchell from Siavuma, and he said, Barack, I want you. I'm like, when? He says, well, can you get here before Saturday? I'm like, it's Boxing Day, it's only 4 days. So I had to fly from America to England to South Africa within 72 hours. So but it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer. You know, Paul actually told me how good the chairman was, how good the club was, his vision. And I flew back. Within 3 days, I arrived in Lebohomo, you know, in Polokwane, with Mr. Mpelele.
Yeah.
You know. And again, 12 points, bottom of the league.
Again, they're in trouble.
12 points, again, bottom of the league. Hey, this is the 12 points then, 12 points then, 12 points TTM, 12 points Swallows.
Yeah.
So it's always been
This
bottom of the league.
12, this number 12 is something.
It's not my favourite number. So I came to Barocca, and then obviously COVID, and you know, we went into that bubble.
But you still saved them from relegation.
It was the toughest one. It was the toughest one through COVID. Because remember, we had, I think it was 2 months where we couldn't go out, we couldn't. No, there was no socialising, there was no training. You know, everybody to stay indoors. You could then, I think a month later, the president announced that you could go for walks and players could train. So we'd have half the team in Polokwane, half the team in Lebohomo. They would train there. The Polokwane kid would run around the stadium. And in Lebohomo, I picked to run around the field, not round the town, up into the mountains and back down to the training ground. And it kind of worked to keep everybody fit and active. And then as the restrictions kept going lower and lower, we then started to go in the gym. So for 3 months, I think it was very, very hard to keep the players motivated, to keep them, you know, responsible. And fair play to the chairman, he paid us every month. You know, he didn't stop any wages. He kept giving us our salaries, which was good. And then we went into the bio bubble.
And you were staying at the clubhouse by then? During the bubble, or you were staying in Polokwane?
No, I was still staying in Polokwane.
Okay.
But like we maybe 3 times a week we'd have a training session together. Okay. And the others would just do it in Polokwane and in Lebohomo. And then the PSL, the restrictions went down to level 2. The PSL decided, right, we need to finish this league. It needs to finish. We need a champion. We need relegation. Yeah. And we went into this bio bubble in Johannesburg. All the teams were playing in Johannesburg.
Yeah, your home stadium was Bidvest.
Yes, ours was Mill Park. Yes.
Yeah, they gave you Bidvest.
Yes, they gave us Bidvest. Yeah. And we stayed in Rosebank with Ajax Cape Town, who are now Cape Town Spurs, and Wits, who had already sold their franchise to TTM. So Gavin actually could have won the league. Gavin could have actually won the league. Because they had games in hand, they were like Sundowns, they had games in hand. But I think Vitz knew that, you know, the best players were going to sign for Pirates, for Sundowns, for Chiefs. They weren't going to be no longer Vitz University. It was going to be TTM. Yeah. And Ochakuma Chan, Mansi Vandila. See, I'm good at my names now. And so we were all sharing that same hotel. We had certain hours in the gym. We had certain hours in the pool. You know, we could eat together, but you know, everybody had a single room. I mean, there was no sharing of rooms. So it was a really, really tough environment to be in. Plus, we had 6 games, I think, within like 2 weeks to play. So it was very, very tough in that scenario. And we had 3 games left. We had Sundowns, Supersport, and Chiefs. You know, how's them for your last 3 games? You know, Sundowns are trying to win the league.
Yeah.
Supersport are a very, very good team.
Yeah.
And Chiefs
Once
want to win the league.
In fact, I think they were still leading the league.
They were
at the
still
time.
leading, and we beat Sundowns. Nobody gives us a chance to get Sundowns. Nobody.
Yeah, you beat them at Dobsonville.
Nobody gives
With
us
a
a
header.
chance. Nobody gives a
Yeah.
Junior, Kerr, he scored the winner. And things happened after the game. I made a comment on TV.
Peter was upset that day. What happened that day, coach?
My players were a bit disrespectful to his team. You know, that was, and I actually, you know, I actually had a go at them. I told them to go into Sundown's dressing room and apologise. They were excited. A couple of young players were, you know, really, really pumped up, and they made some comments about players, especially I think their centre half, Mashimento.
The late Ace Madisha, and also I think each time the late Mucheka Madisha had a ball, they will say something.
Yes, they and it was very disrespectful, but
Yeah.
it was naivety. It was young kids that were saying them. So I made them go and apologise to Pizzo and the team. But yes, because you know maybe he thought that result may have cost them the league. And then obviously the next game we played Supersport, we got hammered 4-1.
Yeah.
We got hammered 4-1, and the reason we got hammered is before the game, you know, they sing the traditional songs and they dance, and it was brilliant. I mean, I've never heard, you know, a football team sing with so much passion and so much energy. And I, if you can go back and think, well, I think we were too confident. Supersport hammered us.
Yeah.
You know?
After beating Sundowns.
After beating Sundowns, Supersport hammered us. And last game of the season, we had to get a point
Yeah.
to
From Chiefs.
survive against Chiefs, who I must say threw it away. Not just because they played Barocca, but you know, in the bubble, it just didn't work for them. Chiefs should have won the league by 10 points.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have let Sundowns catch them.
So somewhere during the bubble, they got it wrong.
Yep, I think you know psychologically it might have been tough for them. You know, they were in an environment which they're not used to being in a hotel all the time. You know, and Sundowns are the same. We were all in the same boat. We were all, you know, eating the same things. Nobody had a different menu. Oh, excuse me. Nobody had a different menu. We all trained at certain times. There were no favouritism to any club. You know, and then we came into the game against Chiefs, and we were losing 1-0.
Yeah, halftime you were 1-0 behind.
Yeah, we were down. We were in the playoffs.
You go into the dressing room
If
knowing
Black
that
Leopards had won, we were
Yeah.
relegated.
with this situation we're out.
And Black Leopards are playing Sundowns, remember?
Yes.
You know, so we're playing Chiefs.
Yes.
So the worst case scenario is if Leopards lose, they go down, we go to playoffs. If we draw, we're safe. So at half time, I've lost it, and I've thrown everybody out of the dressing room apart from my players. Apart from my players, and 2 players, everybody. I ripped through everybody.
Everybody out.
All the staff. It's just me and 11 players.
11 players.
And from Chipper Zaze up until Gerald Pirry, I went through every player about life, football. What will happen if we get relegated? What will happen if we play in the playoffs? What will happen? You know, and I said to Gerald Pirry, and I said to Lord Kambala, as he's known now.
Yeah.
I said to Kambala, you are wasting your time. Go back to Mozambique, go and fish for prawns. Because you're not a footballer. I said, what are you doing? You're giving me nothing. And you're a good player. I said, but yeah, I need more from you.
Yeah.
I need better from you.
Yeah.
And I said to Pirry as well, I said, Pirry, I said, your left foot is a wand. I said, but your left foot right now is doing nothing. I may as well go and play there. Because you're not providing anything, you're not giving anybody anything. you're not creating anything, and you're my best player in midfield.
Just
you're,
number 10.
You're the creative player.
Yeah.
Number 10. You know, and what happened? Go outside the second half. Perry takes a free kick. Kambala scores the goal, and we managed to draw, and we survived relegation, and we survived the playoffs. But I've got a lot of respect for Mr. Middendorp, right? I've got a lot of respect for Ernst. But I felt really sorry for him, because with 20 minutes to go at 1-1, Chiefs have to win the league. They have to win the game to win the league. And Denman Farmer came off with a shoulder injury. And the only options I had was to put Kambala at centre back, which I didn't do, or put Wee Bance, who's 4'5", against Nurkovic, who's 6'2".
Yeah.
And the technical staff were going, no, you can't, you're crazy. I made the choice. I put Bance on and made him Mark Nurkovic.
Yeah.
Nurkovic didn't do a thing. But neither did Chiefs. For the last 20 minutes, it was like, you know, they didn't want to win the league. You know, if that had been me as a player, I'd have put Cooney at the back and put 10 players up front and just put the ball and tried to get that one goal.
Yeah.
They didn't do that.
They were also, I think, nervous, and I'm sure now they know the result, because I think Sundowns Leopards went halftime 0-0.
Yes.
Sundowns missed the penalty also first half. And maybe it also played in their mind that the stress, the more stress you are, I believe, coach, is difficult to score.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, it is. Don't be stressed. Don't be anxious. You know, you've got to be relaxed. Like I say, Musonda, you know, trust me, believe in me. I'll help you become Golden Boot winner, and that's what you have to be in as a striker.
Yeah.
Relaxed, composed. But they didn't. I think we had a goal ruled offside. You know, we looked like the team that wanted to win at 1-1, and we were wanting not to be in the playoffs. But Chiefs, on the other hand, they need to win. They're going to win the league in how many years?
It's been long.
A long
Over
time.
7 years, yeah.
A long time. So, yeah. So after that, you know, we were preparing for
The new season.
the new season. We were preparing for the new season, and yeah.
For a change, you go into a pre-season with your team.
For change, I went into pre-season with the team.
But you don't finish that season again.
I went in. We played a friendly against Supersport that I arranged.
Pre-season.
We were supposed to go to Pumalanga, but Supersport were coming to the ranch in Polokwane. So I arranged 2 friendly games. We got a new squad, new players, new trialists. The chairman had brought in Oscarine, and I didn't know Oscarine at all.
They were bringing back after they suspended him. You went to TS Sporting, and then now he was coming back.
I didn't know Oscarine. I didn't know he'd scored this wonderful world goal.
Caesar kick against Orlando Pirates.
Exactly. I didn't know he'd done that. He was a big keeper, very confident. We played Supersport, and I picked 2 teams. And Elvis Chipazese was my number 1. The chairman knew he was the number 1. I played Chipazese in the first game. We drew 0-0. And I played Oscar in the second game, because the likes of Grobler and all the top players at Supersport were playing in the second game. And we played Champies at left back, and I played Junior. You know, pre-seasons to find out, you make up and find about your goalkeeper, Oscarine. We lost the game 2-0, and I got summoned to a meeting after the game with the chairman. And we sat down, and he told me he didn't like the results. He wasn't happy that I didn't play Chipazese, and I tried to explain the situation. And he said, well, no, you've got to play him, you've got to play him, you've got to play him. Now, against Sundowns, a similar thing happened after about 50 minutes. You know, I got a message from the team manager who came from the stand, tapped me on the shoulder.
It's an official game now.
Official against Sundowns.
Yeah.
Tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned around and said, what? He says, the chairman wants you to make 2 substitutions. Excuse me? You've got to take off Pachi, and you've got to take off Magaga. What?
2 creative players.
So I said, no, I'm not going to swear on TV. And then 2 minutes later, it came down again. So when we had that meeting, it didn't. I thought it ended. I thought we had the discussion, we had the chat, we agreed to disagree. He was right, I was right. He was wrong, I was wrong. And I left that Saturday afternoon. I said, "I'll see you on Monday." Chair, fist bump, obviously, because we can't handshake now.
Yeah.
Fist bump, and then on Monday I appeared at training. As I got into the door, Richard, the general manager, came with a letter of suspension. I was suspended for insubordination and failing to obey orders. You know, and that was my time then at Barocca. It was finished.
And it was never mended then. You after suspension was resignation or dismissal?
No, after the suspension, a month later, I had 2 charges initially given to me, and a month later, I had 17 charges.
Sure.
So they were trying to get things to throw at me, and me being a proud footballer and an honest footballer, I decided to. Once they decided to release me, I then took them to PSL for unfair dismissal and breach of contract, which is still ongoing now.
Still ongoing, that case?
Still ongoing now. I've won the case. I've won the case. You know, but what happened was disgusting. From the allegations and the thing that I got exonerated of all charges.
Yeah.
Is a main point in football, because they tried to disregard my character. They tried to say things that I've never done. They implied on things that were never true. One incident was really low. I mean, it's the lowest you could ever get of being accused of something that you've never done and never said.
Because there was a story, coach, that you said your assistants are not educated and whatnot. You are more educated than them. Is it the case? We've heard that from their side in the media, but we never had the side of story or after them coming back to apologize to say no, the coach never said this. But sometimes that perception will stay with you if it's never clarified.
Look, I'm not going to lie. You know, if somebody's not got no licenses. You know, now you cannot coach in CAF if you've not got a pro license. I don't have a pro license. So if any coach says, well, you know, he's not qualified, you know, that's the truth. You know, it's not any disregard to the person or the persons. You know, it's not me being insulting to the people. It's telling the truth. You know, I'm a UEFA advanced soccer coach. You know, my credentials are on my legs. You know, in 8 years, I've won 2 championships, 4 cup finals, and I've kept 4 teams in the Premier League. You know, so it doesn't matter if you've got a license. License has got nothing to do with it. It's how you can work with players, how you can work with teams. You know, and I've never disrespected any of my coaches. The things that you say in the heat of the moment, you know, the things that I've said. I swore at my coach one day, and it's documented in the case. You know, because I was asking him to do a coaching session, it wasn't happening. It was happening, but I wasn't swearing at him. I wasn't being disrespectful to him. I just, you know, I swear, you know.
And football is a game of hit moments.
Of course it is, because big moments either win your championships or get you fired. You know, and we'll talk about that later with the latest with Swallows. But you know, I had a plan for Barocca. When we went back to Lebo Como the day after we'd won the game against Chiefs, my chairman sat there and made a big speech to all the people at his house. We're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it because of him, because he was so passionate about his team.
He loves his team.
He loves his team. The village now is apparently very, very good. It's now part of the NFD. Sorry,
they've been playing their home games at that facility,
which was his dream. which was his dream. It was his vision, and
Yeah.
it was his dream, and I wanted to be part of that, and I wanted to help him become part of that. You know, and there's a process. It takes time. Can't just happen like that. But I said to him, you know, when it all first, I said, you know, you'll regret losing me because this team will eventually get relegated.
It'll go down.
18 months later, they get relegated.
Sometimes, do you think chairmen, they want to be too involved or they gamble with their investment? For me, a PSL status is a lot of money. It's a huge investment. But as fans, sometimes we ask ourselves, do chairmen serious about their teams? When you look at the structure they put, the coaches, they say, come and save the team. You say,
I think you have to ask the chairman that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult because, you know, the scenarios that I've been placed in have been to keep the PSL status.
Yeah.
Because of the financial rewards.
Yeah.
2 point something PSL, 500,000. ABC Motsepe. You know, so you're actually trying to save your chairman's company or your chairman's club or your chairman's future because they rely on that money to sign players. Some players have got good sponsorships. Barocca have got a good sponsor, global.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Chiefs and Pirates, Sundowns, they've got their sponsorships, and Cape Town City. Now, not a lot of other clubs have got that kind of sponsorship. So this grant is a massive, massive benefit
It's
for the
helping a
football
lot.
team. For the football team. But ideally, you want to be given an opportunity and time to build a brand that suits that football club, suits the style of play, suits the administration, suits the chairman, suits the board members. And your responsibility is to do that. That's why you're hired. You know, and I think my biggest mistake was going back to Black Leopards after I left Barocca. It was a great idea, you know, because the Lido-Duva people, they love me.
Yeah.
You know, and thank you guys.
Yeah. Why you say it was a mistake?
You should never go back to the team that you had success with. You know, you should never return. You know, it's something that you've you know, like this morning, the people in Kenya have messaged me, please come back, please come back, please come back, because they know I'm free. And you know, you don't go back. You know, I've won 2 championships. Now imagine if I don't win a championship, I don't win a cup, then my reputation
is
you know, it's not the same. You know, even this morning I had 2 offers, one from Botswana, one from Tanzania, and as I was driving here, another team in Kenya Police in Kenya, somebody asked me if I'd consider going back there. But going back to Leopards was the right choice at the time because I was still in Polokwane. It went wrong when they appointed Coach Siema as my assistant. It went wrong.
Were you not given opportunity to bring your own assistant?
No.
I haven't seen you as a coach that usually bring his own assistant.
No,
you always work with what they give you.
Always work with what they are. And,
Yeah,
you know,
because most coaches, they move with their assistant. But you, I think, each time you move, you work with whoever you find.
yeah, you get the opportunity to a local coach, especially coaches who've been there a long time. Morgan at Black Leopards, Toker at Barocca, at TTM, I had Mpo Maleka, you know, who was my former player at Black Aces. And here, I had Fanny Madida. He was good for me. Fanny was good for me. So was Musa. So was Musa and Tella, who are there now at the moment. But I've never had the opportunity to bring my own coach. And it kind of, it's been okay with Musa and it was okay with Fanny. Morgan, not so. Coach Siema was a disaster.
So after they appoint you, did they appoint Siema after you?
Yes, they appointed.
Did they consult you to say we think?
No, they didn't consult me. They just said, you know, we're bringing. David looked at the Sundowns model, 3 coaches. So he thought that Siema. But I knew from the minute I actually sat in the office, I should have resigned. I should have walked away.
How was it a disaster? If you explain, because I can tell you felt day one that this is not going to work.
No, it wasn't going to work. Siema wanted the job. Siema wanted the job.
He didn't want to assist.
No, I didn't want to be assistant. You know, when I looked into his eyes, you know, you can see there's oh, coach, I can't wait to work with you. It's a pleasure to work with you. But when you look deeper, deeper through them eyes, you know, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And the first day in training, I arrived an hour early, like I always do, to set everything up.
Yeah.
And CM was there setting everything up. I went, whoa, what you doing? You don't know how we play. You don't know how we work. No,
Who's asking?
Coach Siema, he set everything up.
When you get there 1 hour before, you already found him there.
He's already there setting things
Set
up.
up the training session.
And I told him it wasn't his responsibility. You know, he doesn't know the team, he doesn't know the players, he doesn't know what we do or how we play. And then I knew then, you know, that he had an agenda. He had an agenda. And we had a game against Pirates. And the chairman came in to have a meeting with everybody, and he told me if we lose to Pirates, I was finished, and you know I'm a useless coach.
That's a pre-match.
This is a
meeting.
pre-match meeting. Yeah.
Is the
night
chairman?
before.
Is the chairman telling you that?
That's the night before.
Yeah.
He's come down. He spoke to the players. Spoke to all the coaching staff. We beat Pirates 2-0. CM on the bench like this. Everybody's celebrating. Everybody's celebrating. We've beaten Pirates 2-0. CM was like that on the bench. And then the next game was against his former team, Chipper. We'd just been fired by. And I said, look, you know their team better than me. Can you do what do you think? Shall I play him? Shall I play him? What do you think with the makeup?
Yeah.
And we agreed that we'd change King and Glove for, I can't remember the keeper's name now. We dropped
Was
King.
the guy from, he was an international?
Yeah.
The dark doll guy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Can't
tall
remember
and
his name
dark. He was from one of the...
Some Ghana.
yeah, he played in the
Yes.
AFCON,
Yes.
and then you brought him to Leopards.
So, Mendes.
Mendes.
So, King had a bad foot, so I dropped King and I took Ramagala. I dropped him because he wasn't giving me anything.
Ramagaler.
Yep. He wasn't giving us anything. And we sat, discussed it, we both agreed. He told me the makeup of the Chipper team, which was the complete opposite.
It didn't come out that way.
No, did he, Al? I mean, he basically told me, you know, this was he was not a good player. He was not a good player. They were the best players for Chipper, right? But I gave him the role because he was. I thought because he'd been fired by them 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Before
he knows them.
he would know them and he'd want to get one up on them, but no. So we had a big altercation in the dressing room at half time.
Half time, what's the score?
We were losing 2-0. We were losing 2-0. The players that he told me were rubbish. They were brilliant. You know, and he made a call to Ramagallela, Ramaji.
Yeah.
To come off the bench. And I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "No, we've got to get Ram on." I said, "But you told me last night your decision, your opinion was Ramagella's not going to play." And I went with it because I agreed with you. Now you want him to play? No. So we had a big bust up in the dressing room, and then the next day I formally resigned. And I told the chairman, I said, "He'll relegate you. He'll get you relegated."
Yeah.
I should have put some money on it and made a bet. Because true as my words, he did. He got them relegated. He got them relegated.
Yeah. When you left, you told the chairman TDL that he's going to relegate this.
He'll relegate you. He'll relegate your team. He'll relegate your franchise. He'll get rid of your franchise. I told him because he no.
Wasn't ready.
No, he wasn't good enough. And then he resigned, and I think he went to Golden Arrows. But yeah, you know, it wasn't a nice experience that.
So, coach, now you come back to TTM, and something strange happened when you come back to TTM. It says 2 months, a gap, 3 months. What was happening there? You think you came, couldn't sort out paperwork, or what happened?
Visa issues. You know, it's been a story of my life. Visa issues.
Yeah.
You know, it's never easy for me when I take over a new team. It takes a lot of time, and I think it was 5 games at Leopards. No, it wasn't. I tell you, it was 3 games at Leopards. It was 5 games at Barocca. 5 games at TTM. 5 games initially at Swallows last year. And again, it was 5 games this year.
Yeah. Why is it always an issue seems with you? Is it
I
your
don't know.
responsibility or the team's responsibility to sort out your paperwork?
It's a team's responsibility. The Swallows one was a disaster, you know.
Yeah.
But we do it the legal way. We don't go behind the scenes, and we don't offer money to anybody to fast
speed
track
it
it.
up. Yeah.
We just do it properly, and it's weird because I've got 5 work permits in my passport. I'm on the system. Why do I have to go through the process every time? And at TTM, you know, Paul Maleka was in charge, and he spoke to the chairman, Mr. Sello, and he said, "Listen, let's get Dylan in." And I met the chairman, and we had a good chat, and I decided, yes, let's do it, let's go for it. And again, I joined the club, and the old TTM that Mr. Sello had purchased from, they had issues, and issues which were just unbelievable. You know, from a financial point of view, what the old TTM chair who bought Vates had promised players, had signed players for financial obligations, it was a disaster. So after 2 or 3 weeks, you knew what trouble the club was in. Not through the new TTM owner, Mr. Sello, who is now Mr. Gallants. Sorry, Marumo Gallants.
Marumo Gallants, yeah.
It was the previous owner of TTM, which I think now is the same one that's in the ABC Motsepe League.
Yes.
In the NFD. And the financial aspects of it were ridiculous. So I said to the players on my 3rd day, right, write down what you need, what you owed, what problems you've got, right? Don't put your name on it. Don't need your name on it. Just give me a description. Well, sorry. Put your name on it. Give me a description, then I'll submit it to the chairman. I got pieces of paper, I got a beer mat, I got a receipt from Checkers, I got a receipt from Spar, I got a piece of paper, I got a little ripped up piece of paper, I got all sorts of it, not on a proper A4 piece of paper or a nice piece of paper.
Yeah.
And the issues were all money. Signing on fees, late payment for apartments, bonuses, which had been promised. All these issues. And I said to them, I sat them down one day with the chairman.
The new chairman now.
Mr. Sello, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, guys, this chairman will sort everything out. It's his responsibility to sort everything out. He's purchased the club. He's purchased the club with all its good things, all its bad things. So, but it'll take time. I said, but for now, we've got to remain in this league. We've got to remain in this league. It's not about winning anything, it's surviving.
Yeah.
You know, and again, we had off the field issues that hampered my job in doing the things I did. But again, I said to the players, you're good enough. Remember, it's your careers. Remember, it's your families. Remember, it's not just your wife and your kids. It's your grandparents. It's your aunties and uncles that you're supporting. Because that's what footballers do in South Africa. They support other family members because they're earning a credible wage.
Yeah.
I says, and the biggest thing is if you get relegated, how many teams are going to come and sign you? Who's going to take responsibility? Think, well, we got relegated, let's sign that player because he maybe do us a favour. Nothing. You don't do that. So stay in the Premier League. And then you've got an opportunity. I.e. Ndondlo just signed for Chiefs, for Pirates. Tim just signed for Pirates. Makopa just signed for Pirates. So by staying in the Premier League, you've got a chance to advance. And also those at the club can renegotiate a new contract. Obviously there's 2 or 3 people you'd leave to bring in new blood. But that's what I said to them. You know, football's, it's great while you're winning, but when you're losing, it's horrible.
Yeah.
You know, and only you can change that.
Yeah.
But in the player's psyche, not having that money every month, which they have to pay for things and purchase things, and they've got a date where everything comes out from the bank, and I got through to them, and like I say, it was very, very tough. It was very tough because again, we're bottom of the league, 12 points. Everybody wanted TTM out of the league. They wanted them relegated. Not the new TTM.
Not the new TD8.
But the old TTM,
Yeah.
because of the issues. And we managed to survive, but on top of that, we managed to win the Nedbank Cup final.
The Nedbank Cup final, yeah. And I remember in one statement you said, before the Nedbank Cup final, that's when you get to sit on the bench. Semi-finals, you're not on the bench.
Yep, semi-finals, I was on the bench. And, and then the final, my visa came through. My visa came through. And to take the team out like we did, I knew the minute I knew we weren't going to lose that final was in the pre-match lunch talk. We knew the team, and Alfred and Nonyani.
Yeah.
Nonyani was the captain. He stood up, and Nonyani made a speech that made everybody cry.
Before the final.
Before the final, in the afternoon. Right?
Yeah.
Just before pre-match. And Alfred and Nagani got up and put his arm around him, and I knew then we weren't going to lose this final. We weren't going to lose this final. And we'd agreed with the club on the bonus structure. The club gets half, we get half. That never happened. And the players, did very, very well to win that game against a very tough Chipper team. All cup finals are difficult.
Yeah.
You're not going to get
Their
an exciting
nerves
cup
and-
final. Yeah, because nobody wants to lose. 7 million rand to win it, and 2.5 million rand to run us up. It's a massive gap.
Yeah.
And wee baby Undondlo, who previous to that was never playing. Previous to that was never playing. And I said to him one day, I grabbed him by the throat one day, and I said, listen, if you don't stop playing for yourself and start to play for your team, you'll drift out of the game. When you play for your team, you're a dream. When you play for yourself, you're an absolute nightmare. And the second but last game against, again, Chipper United, he was playing for himself, and he looked really bad. And I got him against the wall, sorry. I got him against the wall in the dressing room.
Yeah.
I said to him, stop it. Stop it.
Play for the team.
Play for the team. And we won the game, and then, that we survived.
Yeah.
Then we planned for the cup game. I made the chairman take all the players. And then there was an issue after the game with the medals, which didn't go down well with myself or my players.
What happened with the medals? They were not enough?
They were, but the club decided to take 8 of the medals away for some reason. So 8 of the squad players
Couldn't get them.
didn't get a medal. That night was a disaster. We should have been celebrating. There was uproar. The players didn't want to eat. They didn't want to celebrate. Everyone just went to bed. All the players went to bed. The next morning there was a big meeting about the medals. Why didn't players get them? Why did the club take them? Eventually, we drove back home, and I managed to find the people that made the medals, and the club made extra sets, and we presented them to the players. But
But it's not, the feeling's not the same.
Should have never. No, you're on a.
But why they didn't allow players to get all the medals there after the match and then duplicate them when they get home?
Only you know that question. I don't know the answer. That's the thing. Again, this is the thing with football club owners and people that are involved in football who think they know what they're doing. It's you've took away such a great occasion. TTM winning the Nedbank Cup final. TTM had gone all through those problems. TTM that had now qualified for Confederations Cup. And all the players that were supposed to get the medals in the dressing room didn't get them. Like I said, it caused a lot of problems, a lot of hassles.
Yeah.
For me as a coach, I had to deal with them. I had to, help, communicate why. And on the bus coming home, all the players gave me the medals back. I had 25 medals in my bag. And
They said if the others are not getting it,
yeah,
might as well.
we don't want them. So I kept 25 medals in my bag for a week.
Sure.
You know.
And those are the off-the-pitch issues, coach, that we, as fans, we never see, we don't know about them, and sometimes we're quick to judge.
Yeah,
You coaches and players not knowing what you are going through behind closed doors.
no, they don't. It's like I say, there's things happens behind the scenes that shouldn't happen. You know, and your experience in football is to help. I'm not here to help myself. I'm here to help the club. That's why you've made me coach. You know, and when they changed the name from TTM to Marumo Gallants, I sat with the chairman, and I said, "Listen, you know, this is you know what I would like to be offered as a contract." And the chairman came back and said, "No," you know, and I said, "Well, you know," and it wasn't a lot of money compared to what coaches are now. And he said no, and that's why I left TTM.
So after you saved them relegation, you win the cup, you negotiate a new deal, and they said no, what you are proposing is too much.
What we're proposing? No, it wasn't too much. They said no, we're not going to be able.
They
to
didn't
do
even
that.
say it's too much. They just said no.
No, they just said no. So we put in a counter, and no. So then I just said, look, fine, fair enough. You can go your way, and I'll go my way.
Do you think they're already prepared to let you go? It was not about the money.
I don't know. If I'm honest, I couldn't tell you. Possibly they got somebody else involved. Possibly somebody else in the background was.
Yeah.
You know.
And they were also going to Confed.
And they were going to Confed.
Was there no issue of CAF license again?
No, I was okay. I was okay. Yeah. And I've had experience twice in Confed. One in CAF, Champions League, twice in Confed. There's other factors involved in football in this country that's detrimental to the game itself. You know, you've got agents and, you know, or so-called agents that are friendly with chairman. That think they know the game better than you do. You know, right now, I know the chairman didn't fire me at Swallows. It was people, you know, around him that forced him
to fire
you know, to fire me. You know, and like I say, it's not a good feeling, especially when there's nothing I can do when I send the players onto the field of play. But it's not healthy for any footballer. It's not anything. It's not healthy for a football club when the transition's not always on the right path. You know, it deviates. It goes left. It goes right. It goes up. It goes down. It doesn't go straight. And when everybody's on that right path, like if you look at the big clubs in Europe, the big clubs in the world, when players and the club and the supporters are on that right path, you get success all the time. You get success all the time.
And stability.
You know, I mean, when I was speaking to my two captains at Swallows last week, I knew on Monday I was fired.
You knew on Monday?
Yeah, I knew on Monday I was fired. But I had to still go to training, you know, and I still turned up, and then on Wednesday.
So do you think the trigger was the 4-0 at Golden Arrows?
I think that's what, you know, fired the bullet. The trigger was loaded after the Stellenbosch game. The Stellenbosch game was horrendous. It was horrendous. I didn't even do post-match analysis because it was that bad, because that was not my team. That was not my team. You know, so that was bad. Against Golden Arrows, we played well. We played really, really well. Especially at 2-0 down. Up until that third goal, we were still in the game. We just needed one goal, and it could have changed the game. But we didn't get that one goal. And then the third goal, again, three mistakes by my players. You know, made us, and we were losing 3-0. But we still kept going. We still kept trying. Counter-attack, fourth goal, you know, it's game over. But I didn't think the chairman would have, especially we've still got 5 games left till the break. You know, the team have finally started to play the way I like them to play, how I want them to play. But I was speaking to my captains, and Wambi said to me, "Oh, we don't think there's a structure and we don't think there's tactics." I said, in football now, there's no tactics, there's no structures, because it's how you play. It's how my team plays. In training, I go to the chairman and I'll say to the chairman, everything's looking good, everything's good. And then in the game, you guys decide to change it, not me, not me. What we do in training, you don't do in games. And the Stellenbosch and you can't even call Golden Arrows. It was 3 mistakes. 2 in 1 minute. 2 in 1 minute. Killed the game for me. And as I said to my missus, if you're talking structures and tactics,
And these are your captains.
this is my captain, one of my captains, Wambi, good lad, good professional. I said to my missus, in 8 years, to win 6 trophies and to keep 4 teams in the PSL, that's your structure, that's your tactics, because it's how we play. And we play a certain brand of football that we play, other teams can't match us. Last season, with Swallows, we were the second best team behind Sundowns in the last 3 months of the PSL fixtures. That's fact. You know, Sundowns actually sent me the data. You know, the only thing we couldn't do is score goals.
Yeah. So
This year-
Sundowns send you that data
Yeah.
after they analyze your team.
After analyse the team, Sundowns, Sean Bishop sent me this data. He says for all statistics, we were the second best team behind Sundowns.
Behind them.
Right? But we finished in the playoffs.
But was this stats in terms of what Coach Dylan keeping position?
Chances
third
created,
entries?
chances on target,
Yeah.
shots on target, shots off target,
Yeah.
crosses in the box, possession,
Yeah.
running, you know, the data on the running,
Yeah.
you know, how much distance you've covered.
Yeah.
So,
So your only problem is you were not scoring.
we weren't scoring. We couldn't score. You know, that's the only thing that were killing us. We could not score. Yeah, so that, I say, it's, it was a...
So by the Stellenbosch game, you already feel this is not my team.
The Stellenbosch game, I watched the game at 3 o'clock in the morning. I actually downloaded it because it wasn't on TV that morning, because I couldn't sleep. So at 3 o'clock I downloaded it, 5 o'clock I watched it. And every player on that field wasn't my player.
Yeah, you didn't recognize them.
Didn't do anything that I knew, you know, from the defence to the strikers. I mean, Wasim Isaacs had 1 touch in 45 minutes. I don't play like that. I don't play football like that. I play exciting, attacking,
Yeah.
creating chances, brand of
Your
football.
team has identity.
Which they've all had identity, and you know, everybody knows how I play. But that day, I just accepted it was a bad day. It was a bad day at the office, as they say. But I didn't see from my players how we could perform like that, and I didn't understand. And then obviously, there's rumours that, you know, certain players are not playing, and certain players might be talking, which happens in football. You know, they don't like the coach, they don't not playing, why am I not playing? So they'll start to say things, and I ignore them things because I see my players daily and I know their attitude and know their character. And on the back of that 4-0 drubbing, as it got said in the media, you know, you could see the mistakes weren't forced mistakes, they were genuine mistakes. You know, Sassman went to make the tackle, he shouldn't have made the tackle, that's judgment. Takasani went to clear the ball, instead of kicking it, he decided to side foot it, bad judgment. The third goal, Kwanda dribbling out, you know, and the fourth goal, you know, we got 4 defenders in the box, not one pressed the ball. You know, maybe the morale was down, the heads were down. And yeah, I say, when the chairman phoned me, the chairman's never phoned me straight after a game, never. And
he phoned you during the press conference?
Yeah, he phoned me during the press conference. And he said, we have to have a meeting on Monday. And then I thought, yeah, maybe he's going to reprimand me and say, right, you've got 1 more game, or you've got 2 more games, but, you know, I didn't expect this outcome to have happened. So, but I say, it's part and parcel of the job. You know, I have to take responsibility. I've got the ownership to how we play, and at the end of the day, losing that game is not down to me. Losing the game is down to individual errors. But the spirit was there, the work ethic was there. They tried. Even at half time in the dressing room, they knew they were going to get back into this game. We just needed that break. Masunda went through 1-on-1 with the keeper, blasted it over bar, and then had that gone in,
It's 2-1.
changes the dynamics.
Yeah. Eros is under pressure.
Yep. So But this season, the dynamics of the team that I started, I would have to change things because it wasn't working. And when I changed things, it worked. You know, and again, you know, when you're not allowed to speak about it, the supporters don't know. You know that the team that starts are not performing well, so you have to make changes. You know, you live and die by them changes, right? I would say 90% have worked, 10% didn't work. You know, the likes of Stellenbosch making the change at half time, try and get something, didn't work. But the previous 6 games before that, the game before that against Gallants, at 1-0 down at half time, I had to change it. We should have won 3-1. Again, Masonda, you know, should have scored. And he didn't, you know, and then we had a goal ruled offside. But we should have won that game because at half time I changed it and I made the team better. But people don't see that. People just look at the results and look at...
So, some they don't look at the how. How did you lose? They just look at you've lost. Because sometimes when you look at the how, you say, no, the team is promising, it will click, and it's a matter of time.
Social media can make you or break you. You know, social media, you've got fans, you've got haters. You know, and these so-called trolls. You know, my social media is for people to enjoy. You know, and I do read social media because it's important to know what fans are thinking. Yeah. You know, what people are thinking. You know, it's an opinion. You know, it's the first time ever that a supporter's come up to me and told me to go. And that was against Stellenbosch. You know, coach go, coach go. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. Again, it's not a nice feeling. But everybody wants to lambast you on social media. The Swallow fans, and they've got the right because they're supporters. Yeah. I'm the same if Man United lose, or if Leeds United lose, or if Kilmarnock lose. You know, I'll voice an opinion as a football fan. Only one person said, "Well, whoa, why is the coach getting the blame when it was the players that are the ones that caused the damage or did the damage?" Yeah. And I said thank you. You know, I replied thank you. You know, not for exoneration, not for self-gratification. I did it because it's the truth. It's the truth. And one of the things that I like in football is people that are genuine and honest. You know, they'll speak to you and they'll look at you in the eye, and you'll judge them on that. But a lot of people here will talk to you, look you in the eye, and as soon as you walk away, they're killing you. That knife is out and it's been flung at you. You know, it's been stabbed at you. So, but you accept that. I accept that's part and parcel of the game. Yeah. You know, in this country, you know, you can't play everybody. You can't pick everybody. But instead of them players doing something for themselves to change your mind and your perception, they point the finger and they'll blame the coach. It's always the coach's fault.
Yeah, it's always especially when you lose, the coach's fault.
Win or lose, it's always the coach's fault. If you're not in the squad of 20, you're the worst coach in the world. See, my coaching style is about playing football. My coaching style is by playing everybody. For instance, every team I've coached in Africa, I very rarely do 11v11. Because imagine you've got 34 players, 20 are playing, and 14 are stood in stands watching. Or 14 are complaining and moaning and killing you as a coach because you're not playing. I involve everybody, because if I involve everybody, everybody's on the same page. And whatever anybody says, it works. It works. Yes, you're going to get people that are happy. Yes, you're going to get people that are frustrated. But they don't come to the door and knock on the door and say, "Coach, you know, can you help me? What do I need to do? Where do I need to be? What are you asking from me?" But they'll say to the teammate, "This coach, he doesn't like me, or I should be playing instead. I'm better than him, and he shouldn't be playing, but the coach likes him." Coaches don't pick teams because he likes the player. He picks teams that he sees the potential of this squad, the potential of this game. You know, and you'll never change it. You'll never get rid of it. But instead of doing something about themselves and coming to see me and saying, "Listen, what do you think?" And you say, "Right, this is where I want you to be. This is what I want you to do." You know, and it's difficult. It's difficult. You know, there's one player at Swallows that everybody's raving about playing, but in 5 weeks of training, he's trained 3 times.
Only 3 times?
Only 3 times. He's always injured, he never comes to training, he's always late for training, so we have to send him home. You know, but people say, "No, why not give him a chance?"
Everybody say he must play, and you spend the whole 5 weeks with them, you know where he was.
Yeah, I know where he is. I know where he is. Now, I'm not going to lambast it. I'm not going to criticise him on social media.
Yeah.
When fans have a right to ask where that player is. You know, but again, is he doing himself any favours? No. Who's he going to blame? The coach. We spoke to his agent a couple of weeks ago. His agent didn't know any of this. He tells his agent a different story. So when me and the team manager tell him the true story, you know, the agent's like, you know, why? I didn't know that. You know, so I say you can't please everybody, and at the end of the day, you the only people you need to please is supporters and your chairman.
Yeah, and you can do that with results.
And you do that with results.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's difficult.
And with Swallows this season, after saving them from relegation through playoffs, did you get to do pre-season?
Yeah, I did pre-season.
You started with them on time?
Started with them on time because I went home to England to sort my mum's all my mum's requests, and I had to sign some documents on my mum's estate, which wasn't a lot, by the way. You know, bless her. Bless her. She didn't have a lot of money, my mum, but she had a lot of love. She had a lot of kindness. And she told me that, you know, just go out and enjoy yourself, you know, because you're a long time deed, as they say. And I went home for 12 days. Didn't have a lot of time because of pre-season. But when I arrived back, they had trials. You know, we had trials at Swallows. We actually signed three good youngsters from those trials. A goalkeeper, Boutley, Mosquito, who used to be at Chiefs and was released, and a guy called Ronaldo, a little kid called Ronaldo.
And that kid Makua, is he from
That's
development?
Him. That's Mosquito.
Mosquito, yeah.
He was from Chiefs. He'd been released at Chiefs. So we'd actually got 3 good young players, goalkeeper and 2 wingers. We'd signed Quander as well, you know, just been released from Pirates. And then it took 3 weeks before my contract came. And when I signed my contract, it took another 4 weeks before I was allowed to sit on the bench.
But in that 3 weeks, while waiting to sign a new contract, you are training the team, you're working.
Yeah. I was training the team.
Yeah.
I was training the team.
And how does it affect you, coach, when, and I think maybe most coaches will experience it, you finish playoffs with certain squad, when you come back, those players that you fought with, they are gone. You must start building again from scratch. I mean, players that you went to playoffs with were regulars, they were gone.
Well, we'd sold 6 players, you know.
Yeah.
2 went to Royal AM, 4 went to Chiefs. Now, none of those 4 players were playing for Swallows until I came. Ketu and Louvo wasn't playing for Swallows until I came. Hamildine was. He was playing. And it shows how good we were playing and performing if we sell 6 of our best players to Kaiser Chiefs and Royal AM. You know, so, you know, we were doing things right on the field as far as performances were coming, but those goals weren't, you know,
they were not coming.
Basil Dean, another player, left to go to Stellenbosch. You know, so my record for players moving on because they became better in 6 months that I was with that team, they moved on to bigger clubs. Tetwa
yes,
at Stellenbosch, he was my player at Leopards. He wasn't playing. We signed him. We sold him to Stellenbosch. Now he's a Bafana player. On the back of that performance against Stellenbosch, where we didn't go near him, he got his call up into the national team.
Yeah.
Nangi at Chiefs. Marks Munyai at TS Galaxy. Masia, who's now at Maritzburg. Denwin Farmer, who's moved to Sekakuni. Gerald Pirri, who moved to Al Ahly in Sudan.
Sudan, yeah.
Right? King Undlovo, who's gone to, and more recently, Tim and Ndondlo, gone to Pirates. Evidence Makopa, gone to Pirates. When I saw Evidence Makopa, he was playing as a number 10. And I liked him. He reminded me of Yaya Toure. I liked him. I said to the chairman, get him into training.
He was playing for their development.
And we played, he was playing with DDC. And then we played Hungry Lions in the Nedbank Cup. And I played him as a 10, half time. Nah, no chance. Striker.
Top striker.
Brilliant. So if you look at the players I've been involved with, the players that have sold or have been sold to other teams, who have now excelling at them teams, and they weren't playing for those teams until I took over. They were playing in and out. They didn't become, Madao. Madao at Sundowns. TT, Kapinga at Sundowns. Madao, until I played him right midfield, wasn't that same player when he played at right back. But right midfield, he got energy up and down. Up and down. And that's why Sundowns signed him, for that energy. And then they moved him back to right back. But he plays for Sundowns as a right winger. Doesn't play as a right back. He plays as a right winger. So again, I forgot about Madao and Kapinga.
Madao, top one-on-one beast.
So I'm not that bad.
So that's why I'm concerned that sometimes maybe club bosses, fans are impatient to say, remember the team that I used to survive relegation is gone, give me a chance to build a new team. But the trigger is pulled before you can stabilize the team. And I don't know, sometimes I just feel maybe as fans, South Africans were impatient.
Look, there's a problem with South African football at the moment. This weekend, the Bafana game, a 90,000 stadium, and there's not even 1,000 people there.
Their attendance was bad.
It's shocking. It is shocking.
But where do you think we are getting it wrong as the country? Where are we getting it wrong? Because it seems like we are busy going down.
$1 million question. It's a great league, the PSL. You take your hat off to Mr. Koza and everybody at the PSL that have got a good brand of football, to showcase in Africa. It's the only, we don't see Egyptian football, we don't see Tunisian football, but everybody in Africa can watch DSTV, the Premier League. The brand needs to be better on the field. The clubs need to be better, more regulated off the field. There's forever cases at the DC, at the PSL, which should never happen. You got South African Players Union. Is it SAFPU or?
SAFPU, yeah.
Right. They have to be accountable for them, for the more for the players. There's no coaches association. I belong to the League Managers Association in England. That protects me as a coach, that offers me coach education, that offers me opportunities. There's nothing like that in this country.
Here you don't have.
No, there's no. In England and in Scotland, you have, when there's a FIFA break or when there's a CAF break or whatever break in football there is, MTN8 break. There's no coach education for PSL, NFD and ABC, Motsepe League coaches. You know, there's a lot of coaches out there that, you know, we don't share ideas, we don't share thoughts. I've spoken to Spot On about, you know, maybe speaking with the referees end of season and before the season kicks off to understand the referees' roles, to understand the coaches' frustrations, to understand the rules. You know, VAR, I don't like VAR, that's my opinion. This handball rule is ridiculous. Is ridiculous. That needs a priority to solve, because you can't jump like that and hit your on the arm. The ball hits your arm and it's a penalty.
Yeah.
You know, you can't defend with your arms behind your back. You know, because players are scared away of giving a penalty. Handball is if a ball's going to hit that screen and I put it and stop it, that's handball.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm moving that way and the ball hits my hand, that's not handball. That's ball hand. You know, so, you know, VAR's got its issues. It works 1 out of 10, and it works against probably nine times out of 10. It's there for a reason, to make football better. I don't think it's improved football at all. When it gets it right, it's good. When it gets it wrong, it's horrendous. You know, I think footballers need to be involved, not referees, because referees are looking at it from a referee's point of view instead of looking at it from a footballer can actually say, oh yeah, that's handball, that's a foul. You know, because we've played the game, we've been involved in the game. But I think there needs to be a vision, you know, to make South African football bigger and better, because it's affecting the national team. It's the women's national team won AFCON, brilliant. You know, everybody jumped on the bandwagon of winning the AFCON, which is fantastic for women's football. Where's the professional game in women's football in this country? You know, it's not here yet.
Yeah.
But how can we, you know, improve it? How can we develop it? You know, football teams, Black Leopards, no youth development. Barocca, apart from DDC, no youth development. TTM, no youth development. Marumo Gallants. Morocco Swallows, you know, they've got the LFA that play in Dobsonville. They've got the DDC. Stellenbosch, under 8s, 10s, 12s, 14s, 16s, 18s, first team. Obviously, it's the university, it's different setup, but they've got that progression.
Yeah. And
that's why the Stellenbosch team are doing so well, producing youngsters. You know, and Chiefs have got their DDC and their youth structure, but is there a link into the first team? Where's the DDC players coming through for Chiefs? Where's the DDC players coming through for Sundowns?
No way.
Where's the DDC from Pirates coming through? Swallows, I took Ace and Valese and Belly from DDC. We've got Makaringi that's training for DDC. We've got the 2 young boys that's joined us last year from DDC. We give them opportunities. But where's the under 16s to the 18s? Where's the transition from 14s to 16s? There isn't any. And this is a professional football club. This is a professional football club. Now, going off that, going a bit further and extending that, when Belgium in 2010 decided that they were going to go in a different way to become the #1 team in the world, in 2010, they set a program for 10 years. And by the end of that 10 years, this is where they wanted to be in world football. So in 2010, they were probably number 30, 40, 50 in the world rankings. 10 years later, number one. Because they decided that each club, each youth team, each development team, they were going to play this 3-5-2. They were going to play this system. They were going to play this way. You know, now in 2010, South Africa hosted the biggest cup competition in the world. 12 years later,
we know it.
No way. Not even close. Not even close.
Not even a plan to say how are we going to improve.
AFCON didn't qualify. World Cup didn't qualify. Whether it was a penalty or not, doesn't matter. But they should have beaten Zimbabwe. They should have beaten Ghana at home. They should have beaten Ethiopia, home and away. Come on.
Do you believe we've got players?
No disrespect to those two countries, but they've got to do better than Ethiopia and Zimbabwe.
Do we have players or we have facilities?
You've got the facilities. You've got the structure here for football is unbelievable. You know, from a stadium point of view. You know, but at grassroots level, you know, we're still way behind. We're still way behind. I'll give you an example in this area where we are right now in Midrand. If you put a 10-kilometre radius, how many full-size or small-sided fields are AstroTurf here? At a guess?
None.
None. In Vietnam, probably about 40. Full size. Not five-a-side, full size in Vietnam, same area. And they're played from 6 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock at night. And it's provided by the government, you know, so the people can play. They'll get an housing scheme and there'll be a pitch put right in the middle of it, you know. And when I was in Limpopo, you know, I would try to meet the Minister of Sports. Would never meet, never come and talk. But yet when there was a public event where it was nice for her to be seen with a picture taken, she would attend. She would attend. Now in rural areas, you've got kids playing on dirt, with stones, with glass. The goalposts are wooden sticks. And they're playing football. You know, put a field, put an AstroTurf field here. 10 years it lasts for. 10 years. You know, somebody tweeted the other day, in Italy, his son was brought up on AstroTurf. They brought one into a rural area, I think in the Free State it were. And it was the first opportunity these black kids, these footballers, played on AstroTurf. And it was like night and day. You know, he was so happy, this guy, so happy. You know, so the structure of the PSL, you know, is down to one man. And he's done absolutely amazing with the PSL. But obviously there's a difference between SAFA and the PSL.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help. That doesn't help. You know, it takes people to like swallow a bit of pride and fix the fixable. You know, it doesn't take rocket science. Two entities come together is better than one.
Yeah.
And one. You know, because you've got to bridge that gap. But I don't know why it's difficult. It's difficult. You know, SAFA are complaining they don't have money. The PSL have got lots of money.
Yeah, we always say PSL has more money than SAFA, and as a result, SAFA it's not easy for them to control PSL because they've got more money than them, and SAFA supposed to say this is how we're gonna run this football.
But that's what I'm saying. Where's the dialogue? Where's the communication? There's some good people in football in this country. Good people that have got a good knowledge and a good background and a good pedigree of how to run football. But they're not allowed because obviously there's something that's blocking that. I was here for the World Cup. I was working for the World Cup with HBO. And seeing, for me, it was the best World Cup I've ever watched. You know, from a country of football diehards. You know, and 12 years ago, where are we now? 12 years ago, where are we now? Everybody's talking about South African football. Everybody, the infrastructure, development, you know, is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
You know, the stadia, are unbelievable. You know, you can go Moses Mabhida, beautiful. You know, Peter McCober, beautiful. The Cape Town Stadium. Beautiful.
The PE, the cheapest stadium.
Kings Park, sorry, not Kings Park, Ellis Park, not Ellis Park, FNB Stadium.
Yeah.
The
Mbombela.
The one in every stadium here is absolutely brilliant. It's empty. Unless it's Sundowns Chiefs, Sundowns Pirates, Chiefs Pirates. Nobody's going to attend. Nobody's going to attend. So let's fix it.
Yeah.
Let's bring the glory of South African football from the 60s, 70s, 80s, during apartheid, during when all the struggles were there, the stadium was full. The stadium was full.
Yeah.
Why can't we recreate that now?
Yeah, it needs to change. But the more we talk about it, we put it on the table, somebody will listen, and eventually maybe we'll have a better team, especially the national team. It's disappointing. I mean, if people, they won't go to stadium if they know we're not going to see anything better. So they rather go stay at home or go to party or whatever.
There's a guy called Abdul Bamji. I don't know if you...
I remember.
That guy could market football. Yes, whether he went, I believe he went to jail, and unfortunately I never had the chance to meet him because Abdul loved me. Abdul Bamji loved me. You know, I brought this exciting brand of football to South African football, and he loved the fact that the fans used to love me playing. And when he would put on a football match, he would put on a football match. If there were two white teams playing, Wits and Arcadia, for instance, maybe 2,000 people would watch at Ellis Park. He'd put a game on before that, Chiefs versus Celtics, or Pirates versus Sundowns, or Swallows versus Chiefs. So the fans would come and the stadium would be full.
Yeah.
And then we'd be by the time we kicked off, maybe half would go.
Yeah.
Maybe half would go. He would do double headers to get people in the ground, to get people in the stadium.
The stadiums, yeah.
He would do that. He would run up and down that field, you know, to get the fans excited, and the fans are brilliant in this country. The football fraternity of fans.
This
you know,
country is good.
they're brilliant. They're brilliant.
They love football.
They're brilliant, you know. But I say it's I think the success of the national team mirrors down to the success of the professional level. You know, because we're not having that success at national level. And Bruce has got a very hard job. I mean, they beat Sierra Leone on Saturday, fantastic 4-0. But who was watching?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it on TV.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Even on TV, you didn't watch.
I didn't watch it.
You just heard the score.
I just heard the score. You know, because I was at a wedding, to be honest. I was at a wedding. But even so, I wouldn't have watched it. I wouldn't have watched it because I get frustrated. Even winning, I would get frustrated. You know, and football's all about opinions. And everybody's got an opinion on football.
True.
And we're all different. You know, it doesn't matter what level you are, whether you're at the top or the bottom. Your opinion is your opinion. Fans are not fools. You know, like I said, first time ever I've been told to go. It's not a nice feeling. It's not a nice feeling.
Yeah.
You know, but it's my responsibility. You know, I'm in charge of that football team. I have to pick the best team that I want to play. And nobody's going to agree with me. Nobody will be, you know, some will disagree, some will agree. But I have to take ultimate responsibility.
Yeah. Even
though I know, from a football perspective, what I do is for my players, for my team. You know, and you know, if they want to screw it up, if they want to make it where I'm not needed anymore, then that's football.
Yeah.
But the three teams previously, if you can go to a player and ask them about me, all of them say, "Oh, I wish you'd have stayed. I wish you were still here." You know, and but that's football.
That's football.
That's football.
But how much of a blame does administrators take vis-a-vis the coach? I'm asking this because if I know Dylan Kerr is coaching a specific team, and then you hear stories that the players are not paid in that particular team that you are coaching, when the players are not performing, whose fault is it? Is it easy to coach or train players who are hungry?
It's easier to coach players that are happy.
Yeah.
When they're not happy,
it's difficult.
So I come for training, you know, at all my teams. You know, and if there's been an issue with salaries, or there's been an issue with something at the team, then you know that you can, whatever you've planned and prepared, just throw it in the bin and just set up a football match.
Yeah. Because
it's very, very difficult when the player's mind's not there. When the players are not there.
Yeah.
Nah, you've gone.
Yeah, because that's what we pick as fans to say that it's well documented, and the team manager will come and say, yes, we haven't paid players, but we're working on it. But yet you are expected to play the same players on weekend and give results. And when results are not coming, it's you who's going to go.
But that's the beauty of last year. That's why we sold 6 players. 7 players, sorry. That's why we sold 7 players. Because it was my responsibility, whatever issues there were, whatever problems there were, I had to make sure my players didn't let themselves down. You know, forget me, forget the club, but didn't let themselves down.
Do it for yourself.
Do it for yourselves, do it for your teammates, and keep yourself in a job. Keep yourself in a job. Now, excuse me, the fact that we couldn't score goals, we couldn't finish games off. I mean, we missed chances that, you know, my strikers should never miss. But we were playing a good brand of football, an exciting brand of football, that on another day, we wouldn't have been in the playoffs. We didn't deserve to be in the playoffs the way we were playing. You know, so, but if you don't score goals, you don't win matches. And that was our problem last year. So, off the field, things were out of my control. You know, but don't make promises that you can't fulfill. You know, my promises were come to training, do your training, work hard, and keep yourself motivated. Let that sort itself out. You know, and that's what the players did. That's what the players did.
Yeah.
You know, so it was really, really good. And I know the chairman's tried very, very hard to make sure everything's done. You know, he got refused a sponsorship last year. That didn't help because they'd already, I think they've over budgeted, you know, and brought players into the club on the back of that sponsorship. But the chairman worked really, really hard. He was trying his hardest to get everything sorted.
Yeah.
But you know, if you haven't got the money coming in and the expenditure's going out too much, then it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle. But no, you can't play one player and not pay another one. You can't play the team that's playing and the team that's not playing. You know, everybody's signed a contract with that football club. You've got to honour that contract.
Yeah.
You've got to pay the players. However you do it, you do it. Month end, it's got to be in the bank.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, players, they panic. You know, one player got kicked out of his house, locked out of his house because he couldn't pay the rent.
And because he wasn't paid.
Because he wasn't paid.
And how is that player's mind when it comes to training?
No. And he's one of my players that, you know, would give everything for me and the club. But when he's not getting paid, you know, he get kicked out of his house. One player, his girlfriend phoned me up. No, she sent me a private tweet message. She said, "Coach, I'm worried about my boyfriend because he's contemplating killing himself." And I saw the message that he posted on Twitter. And I phoned the chairman straight away. I said, "Listen, you've got to pay him. Don't let somebody kill themselves because we're not getting paid." I mean,
Make a plan.
It was heartbreaking. You know, it was that low. It was that low. He wanted. And it wasn't a cry for help. You know, it wasn't, you know, something that if he says it, he's going to get it. It was genuine. His girlfriend messaged me, and I spoke to his girlfriend, and she says, "What's the point? He's only 20 something. What's the point?" That's when you realise that, you know, there's bigger problems, you know, at a football club. That somebody is literally contemplating suicide.
Suicide.
Yeah.
Because of a mere payment, and which.
Because he didn't feel he was getting the support and the backing of the club because of late payments.
And at the club, is he talking that particular player to say, I'm struggling, I need money, or he's not? The body language?
He would come to work, he's got a great smile, he's got a great attitude. And I think that what kept him, you know, because when you sit at home, you've got no power, you've got no electricity because you can't pay for it, you've got no airtime. You know, I've given players money, you know, maybe 100 rand, maybe 500 rand. I'll give players money because they coach, I'm struggling. I can't buy any food.
And some they need transport to come to training.
Some people didn't come to training because they didn't have transport. You know, so, you know, how can you find them? How can you discipline them?
Coach, your job is difficult.
Oh, I love my job. It is difficult, but I love my job.
You don't mind?
No, listen.
But it makes difficult with other admins off the pitch. Because if you have players that are paid, you've got players that are happy, your job is to coach them and make them perform. But now you must play a social worker, you must play supporting.
I'm a dad, I'm a mother, I'm a brother, I'm a son, I'm a uncle, I'm an aunt, I'm a friend.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to balance everything, not just the football. Not just the football. You've got to make sure that, you know, you pick a player that's mentally right. You know, and one player last season had already agreed to sign from the team. And I didn't know that, but the club did. The club did. But they didn't tell me. No, when he was playing rubbish. Now, had I known that he had already agreed to go to another club, he wouldn't have played. But I didn't know that. And then when he played, he was crap. He was absolutely embarrassing. He was rubbish. But I didn't know he'd already.
You didn't know he already signed somewhere. His heart is not here.
The club knew. The club knew.
But shouldn't it be, you should always know which players I'm still having, which players are, because sometimes even if a player signs somewhere, you can say to them, look, you're going, but give me this last 6 months.
100%.
Only if you know.
100%.
You can motivate him to say, I need you.
But if you don't know, and his performances are terrible,
then you just say, he has lost form, let me pick somebody.
Yeah. You think, well, hang on, he's not interested. But why is he not interested? You know, is he interested because he doesn't like the coach, doesn't like the team? Is he having a bad day? You know, there's all these scenarios. But when a player agrees to go to another club, and I'll give you an example, David Tidela, Nangi and Marksman Yai had already agreed to go to another team. David said, they're not playing. Do not play them. They're not playing. You know, they've agreed to go to the team. Nah. So I didn't play them.
Don't play them.
Don't play them. You know?
It's better that way than to play somebody who's not going to perform.
Of course it is, yeah. Of course it is. You know, and they've gone on to bigger and better things, especially Madao. Madao wasn't a problem. He wasn't a problem.
Yeah. But I think Kuliso and Kapinga, they left at the right time when the season ended.
Yeah. I mean, TT's a dream to work for. You know, and why he's not playing now. I mean, 2 seasons now he's played, 5 games?
Yeah.
You know?
And each time he comes in, you see.
Oh, TT's a dream. You know, but Madau's unbelievable. Yeah. Basil Dean, never played left back. I made him a left back. Brilliant player now. Dylan Solomon's never right back. Put him at right back. Brilliant player.
But sometimes, coach, how easy or difficult it is when you know I've coached, let's say in your instance, you've coached Kapinga. You know what Kapinga can do. You are at Swallows, you say, I can go to Sun and say, loan me this boy. I
did.
You went?
Yeah, and Rulani said, not a chance.
Rulani says, I'm not giving you this boy.
Not a chance. He's a Sundowns player. You know, they give us Promise, because he'd not been playing. They give us Caletso, you know, which just didn't work out.
I was surprised that he didn't show anything, glimpse of what we saw at Sundowns.
No, nothing. You know, that's what happens when a player gets a nice GTI golf and buy a house. You know, they become, you know, they don't take the job as serious. You know, and it's last season I kept saying to the players, in this climate now in football, teams are cutting down, teams are having to look after budgets more. You know, so you have to perform and make sure you get results to stay in a job. And now you look at the players that are out of contract and the players that have been released. You know, Happy Jelly. You know, he's desperate to continue for 1 more year. But, you know, I didn't feel that it was going to add to Swallows. But the chairman said to me, well, your defenders are costing you. Maybe bring him in. But I was trusting my centre-halves because I believed in them. And my centre-halves have been conceding goals and ultimately got me fired. You know, and I'm protecting them. Because if I bring another central defender in, that means I've got to let 2 central defenders go. Yeah. Right? So they don't look at that scenario. They don't look at that scenario. Daniel Cardozo used to phone me, can I come and coach? Bernard Parker, can I come coach? All these players, all the players that were released, Cheese Boy, I forgot his name now, Joseph Mshlongo,
Mm, mm.
I had
Joseph
to release.
Mhlongo.
Nene, I had to release. Who's the midfielder that got done for drugs?
Given Tiberi.
No. Tiberi get done for drugs? No, not given.
He was playing
Bibo.
for Bibo.
Bibo.
Yeah.
You know, I had to let him go. Great, honest lad. Great character. Jody February, we had to let him go. You know, so there's a lot of players we had to release. And I said to them, you know, win games, stay at the club. You know, and unfortunately, football clubs have cut down now. A lot of players have got released. We just can't find a club. Good player.
Good player.
Good player. Can't find a club. Pooley Saleng, we had him on loan. Pirates took him back. Can't even get on the bench. And he'll not get on the bench. You know,
So he went back to Pirates.
he went back to
But
Pirates.
where's is he still at Swallows?
Still at Swallows, yeah.
Okay. Because I was about to ask what happened. He went to and he's
That's the player I was telling you, he only trains 4 days out of 5 weeks. You know, complains about everything else, but his agent didn't know. Turns up 1 day, doesn't turn up for 3 days. You know,
and supporters says where is yeah.
and then when he does train, he gets injured. You know, 3 times I've tried to put him in the squad, 3 times he's trained and got injured. So I've had to take him out of the squad
Yeah.
because he's not training. He's not looking after himself, not doing the right things on the field and off the field. You know, he played against Supersport a couple of weeks in a friendly. Played 50 minutes, pulled his hamstring. What are you doing with yourself? That's because you're not attending training. That's not because you're looking after yourself.
And then now, coach, there's another thing here. You coach in Africa, you coach in East, Goma here, and you coach. I'm just going to mention Simba. You coach here in South Africa. When you're playing what perceived as a big match or your team is fighting relegation, there's always a special man invited to help the team with Muti.
The Juju man.
Yeah, I mean, Simba did it publicly like against Orlando Pirates recently here. I'm sure you've seen there. You've been into
I've seen it
Limpopo.
all. I've seen it all. I mean, I've done it all. I mean,
Do they invite you, engage you when the Juju man is coming?
no, they don't. You know, I mean, Black Leopards was the worst. You know, the stuff that I've done at Black Leopards is, you know, is. But it's their culture. They believe in it.
Yeah.
They believe in it. It's a load of rubbish for me.
Did they tell you before you signed that
No.
here we sponsor?
I knew about it. I knew about
You
it.
just knew one day
I
it
knew
will,
about
it will
it.
pop.
Well, I've done it in Simba. I did it at Arcadia. You know, 30 odd years ago. You know, I did it at Narty Lions.
Yeah.
You know, we'd go to the beach and bathe in some blood and animal parts and fish eyes, and then we'd run into the sea and cleanse ourselves, and that was Muti. You know, you know, at Simba, you know, we would go into the, you know, into the hills, and we were given this special ointment and this special you know, fragrance that you know that's been blessed and been. Black Leopards we used to bathe in a plastic tub the night before a game, and I'd be the last one in, so I'd be probably the 25th, 26th person in it. Oh, and then we weren't allowed to shower.
After that.
Right after it, we'd go to dinner, and we'd have dinner, and then we could shower. You know, we'd smoke the dressing room out. It's what they believe in. It's what they believe in. And you'll never change tradition. You'll never change culture. Goma here, you know, we went to Cariccio, and this Juju man had slaughtered a goat, slaughtered 3 fish, and put them in a bag, and apparently they lost 3-0, so they wanted the money back from the Juju man.
Yeah.
And a funny story, when I came to South Africa in '86, the third week we played against Durban Bushbucks. Big Bear Lawrence and Gabani was the owner, and it was the semi-finals of the BP Top 8. The Umlazi Stadium full, 25,000 people there. We were losing 2-0 at half time. And Juju man came on the field, and he started spraying water and throwing whatever. He went in the goal mouse, and it was so good to see. You know, remember, I've only been in the country 3 weeks. I'm an 18-year-old that's left my mum and dad, coming to this foreign country where I'm still learning so early, and the crowd are going absolutely mad, crazy. They loved it because it was. They lost 3-2.
They lost 3-2.
I scored 2 goals. They chased the Juju man
Out.
and when they caught him,
Yeah.
they hammered him because they thought he brought bad luck. It was bad mooty.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad mooty.
Yeah.
So 2-0, they all love him. And at full time, they all wanted to kill him. You know, so you know, I'm 18 years old, thinking, wow, this is welcome to South African
Say
football.
welcome to Africa.
Yeah, I loved it. Like I say, it's the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
It changed my life. It
Yeah.
changed my life. I
But
grew-
in one of the coaches you've coached, have you seen the chairman firing a juju man?
I think they tried to get the one Juju man that's bringing them good results.
Yeah.
I think Leopards changed every time.
They-
we actually against. Oh, I can't remember who it is. I think we're playing Vits at Mill Park. They actually brought a Juju man from the northwest or from Cape Town, from somewhere, and I think it took him about 12 hours to drive. And he came with this bottle of this. He came with this, and it was like all pink. And the chairman said he had, Chief and Elijah said he had to sit in the dressing room. And I'm, why? No, he has to be there. And then obviously when I go out for the interviews, he's doing his.
Yeah.
So that bottle of pink stuff was then empty when I came in.
Yeah.
And we lost the game. I think we lost the game. We lost the game 1-0.
Sure.
So
This guy traveled 12 hours.
12 hours. When I rejoined Black Leopards. When I rejoined Black Leopards the second time, we were training at the ranch, and they just employed a white physio, Brendan. I never met Brendan. Never met him in my life. As soon as I got to the changing rooms, they had the Juju man there with this concoction of in a big bath. When he put the bucket in, and they said, "Look, this is Brendan. Oh, pleased to meet you, Brendan. Right, can you go into this room? Take all your clothes off, kneel down, close your eyes," and we got thrown stuff on us. I mean, it was. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
But hello, Brendan. Nice to meet you. We're both naked,
Yeah.
right next to each other. Within that's the first time I met him.
Sure.
Was on his knees, naked, getting the mooty thrown of us. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's African football for you.
Oh, it's good. You embrace the culture. You embrace the
Yeah.
traditions.
So, Coach, we were about to wrap. Where to now for Coach Dylan? You want to stay in PSL or you looking for?
I don't know, TK. I really don't know. I'm a bit disillusioned at the moment with how things have turned out. I had a plan for Swallows. We're 8 games into the league. 5 games I've been not on the bench, which didn't help. I won 2 games when I'm not on the bench. I lose 2 games when I'm on the bench. But those 2 games I lost were not my fault. Whether I picked the right team or not, I did not underperform. I did my job picking the best team to win the game. My players didn't do their jobs. Whether it's because they liked me or they didn't like me, they just didn't perform. And that's something, again, you learn from it. We didn't really have a stable team, a consistent team, because they underperformed. They would play good one day and then they'd play bad the next. And I give them the opportunity. We had 34 players, I give 31 players the chance to showcase themselves, to go play.
Only 3 players you haven't.
Only 3 players I didn't pick. Given to Betty, Sipo, the centre half, Sibia, and there's one more, Mbele. Although he played against Pirates, he came off the bench. And the rest, I gave them an opportunity. They all had a chance to play. And then no other football club does that. No other football club will take risks and play young boys. No other football team will do. I did it, and I'm proud that I did it. But at the end of the day, you become, a father figure, a mentor, and a role model to these players. But what do they give you back? So I'm going to spend some time evaluating if I want to stay in South Africa. Like I say, I had 3 opportunities. I've been this morning I had two opportunities to speak to teams in Botswana and Tanzania, and I said no. The message I got in the taxi from Kenya Police, I'm definitely not going back to Kenya. You know, nothing that I love Kenya.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but once you're at Gor Mahia, you don't go to any other team in Kenya.
Yeah.
You don't go to any other team in Kenya. So it's like Simba. You know, if Yanga came and offered me a contract at Yanga, I would actually say I'd have to say no. You know, because I've been at Simba.
Yeah.
Yeah, what started as a bad week ended in a good week. You know, last night I got inaugurated into the Reading Football Club Hall of Fame. So, you know, it's been a turbulent up and down week this week, but it ended on a good note. And today I've started a Monday morning, coming to your studio, having this wonderful chat. I hope it's been okay. I hope I've
No, it was great, Coach. Conversation off of the pitch, they're always good, and we really enjoyed being with you here.
No, it's been brilliant. And like I say, I need to, you know, move away from the nest, either today or either tomorrow or Wednesday. And then, like I said, take a couple of, like I said, I always said to Gavin Hunt when he left Chiefs, he should have just had a break. And then he went to Chipper, and then he did have a break. Yeah. You know, when I left Gallants, I took a break out of football. You know, and that was the best thing for me, both mentally and psychologically. Yeah. To take a break. I know what I can do. I know what I can bring to a club. People inside the club, if they see the potential we could be, if we work together instead of working against each other. You know, ideas are ideas, but actions are actions. You know, and it works. It works. But I say, you know, the objectives for me as a coach, I truly believed with this bunch of players, we could have won the league, or we could have challenged for the league, because I worked with them day to day, and I could see how they pressed, how much intensity they worked at, how fit they were, how quick they were. I could see the dynamics of the club growing. And then we got the Stellenbosch game. And then, like you said, maybe players were against me, players were not happy. I don't know that. Yeah. I did apologise to the players for that comment I made on the radio, but I was frustrated at the highest level of frustration. We just lost. We just got beat 4-0. My defenders had killed my game. Killed the game. And then the chairman phoned, and I made a comment that I did apologise to the Swallows players afterwards. I don't think anybody was influencing it, whether it's senior or younger players, but at the time, you know, I was trying to look for answers, because that wasn't my team that played against Stellenbosch. That wasn't my defenders who made mistakes against Golden Arrows. So I made a heat of the moment comment, which I can only apologise for, but what you see is what you get, TK. You know, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm a Yorkshireman, so you know, we say things. You know, we don't bullshit people. We don't tell lies. Yeah. And we've grown up to respect yourself, others, and the job that you're in. You know, I say on another occasion it might have worked with Swallows if they'd have believed in me, if they'd have trusted me. I think we could have given Sundowns a good run for their money this year. But, you know, 8 points after 8 games is not good enough. We're 3 points from 4th position. Me being honestly truthful, we should be on 18 points right now. But when you've sat 5 games in the stand and you can't get your message across and your point across, it's very, very difficult. Great for Musa, great for Teller. Again, another thing you said earlier about bringing your own staff in. It was my choice to promote Musa and to promote Teller. Teller, brilliant goalkeeper coach compared to the others that I had. Oh, night and day. Night and day. And he's not even a coach, not qualified to be a coach. Yeah. But I tell you what a great work ethic. You know, and Moose is still learning. Moose is still growing. You know, but if he gets the opportunity one day, he should actually going to think about management or coaching. You know, but I hope, looking at the back of Dane Clate, you know, giving him the opportunity, and then 5 games later, he's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and it shows football's not about coaching. It's not about your delivery. It's about getting the players to play for you. Biggest example, Morgan Mamileret.
Yeah.
Chipper.
The CEO is winning games.
He's winning games because his players are playing for him.
Playing. Yeah.
That's what you do. You just want your players to play for you. You know, that's a problem with Swallows this year. What I wanted them to do on the field, they didn't do it, but they would do it in training. In training, they would kick, they would fight, they wouldn't concede goals, they'd score brilliant goals. They'd hated losing in training. But when it came to games, for whatever reason, it changed.
Yeah. So, coach, you've played many games in South Africa. Coaches, some they'll tell you the particular coaches, even if you plan against him, he can change within the match, his structure, whatever. And which coach you will say is always difficult, or his team, and also the big three. Which team is very difficult to play against?
Well, obviously, Sundowns because they've got the players. You know, they've got the players. It doesn't matter if you're a good player or a bad player. It's what you do in the game, right? So I watched Stellenbosch versus Chiefs in the MTN 8 quarter-finals. Stellenbosch didn't play like they played against us. You know, I watched Golden Arrows play Sundowns last week in the league where they got beat 2-1.
Yeah.
They changed the formation from 4-5-1 to 4-3-3. I got that perfectly right. You know, because I was there. You know, and I would think that the one coach I have struggled against is John Maduka.
John Maduka.
Yeah. But when he went to Royal AM, you know, he changed. He basically took his Bloemfontein Celtic team to Royal AM.
Yeah.
You know, and the Bloemfontein players have got a way of playing. And he had a good bunch of players there. Now he went to Maritzburg, totally different. Because his Bloemfontein Celtic players didn't go.
Yeah.
You know, I think he took one.
Yeah.
You know, so the dynamics of him has changed.
Yeah.
You know,
I said with one former player on this studio, and I said, the football that Maduka wants to play at Maritzburg doesn't have the same players he had at Celtic and Royal A.
Yeah.
It will take time for him to get them to play the way he wants.
Exactly, but where he went from Bloemfontein Celtic, he had a structure, he had the players, took him to Royal AM, continued, and he's gone to Maritzburg. Totally different spectrum because it's not his Bloemfontein Celtic team.
Yeah.
You know, and the respect I've got from the guys at Sundowns, the guys at Chiefs, the guys at Pirates, all the football teams, you know, it's genuine, it's well earned because of my reputation as a specialist at surviving.
Yeah.
But I wanted to change that mentality, and I actually believed we could have done bigger things
At Swallow.
at Swallows. But unfortunately, in
Things
this
happen.
country, it's results.
Yeah, it's results. Yeah. No, coach, I wish you all the best, and I hope your next job here in the PSL, they are not calling you when the lights are red. It's 12 points. You must add. I hope somebody says, let's give you a mid-table team and move with it up, because I don't like this perception that you must come and save people, and then when it's all and good,
I've got no more room on my legs. I can't put any more tattoos on my legs.
Or they like it when you put things on the legs because you save us. You put the.
Like you say, you know, the apart from the TTM, everything's a winner. I've won everything. I've won a trophy, or I've won a cup.
Yeah.
As a player, as a coach, Barocca, Leopards and Swallows, as well as TTM, say bottom of the league, 12 points. My job was to save them, you know, and I did.
Yeah.
You know, the mandate was to keep Premiership status.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't matter how you do it, I did it.
Yeah.
You know, nobody can take that away from me.
Yeah. True.
And that's more. I was more happy with those tattoos than I were with the Leeds and the Reading and the go on my ears.
Yeah.
Because I was given a job to do, and I did it.
So if you go to another team that you win some, let's say you've got the Leopards tattoo, You go again, you do something great with Leopards. Are you going to put a second tattoo?
No, no, I'll just put the date.
You'll just put a date.
Just put the date.
Oh, okay.
So if it's champions, if it's promotion, you know,
Yeah.
I'll just put that on there.
Okay, Coach, thanks for your time. I think let's wrap it. You know football, we can talk the whole day and night.
Oh, we could be here all day.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've got to go to
once
Southampton.
Once again, thanks again for your time, and we really appreciate for you respecting us. And I mean, it wasn't long why I asked you to come through, and within a few days, me and you were sitting and having a conversation, and I really appreciate that.
No, it's like I say, you know, I'm not making any comments on Swallows because I'm still trying to digest it.
Yeah.
But like I said, we talked about football. We talked about, you know, the game, and that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Fans don't see this.
Yeah.
They don't see this.
Yeah.
Some are going to criticise it. Some will probably like it, but you'll always get a critic. You know, but I will never, unless somebody has hurt me or, you know, done something to hurt my family, then, you know, I won't single anybody out. You know, I'm not resentful for that. You know, obviously we spoke about Coach Siema, but that's the truth.
That's the truth.
You know, so and if I speak about another person, I've already spoken to that person first. So I'm not going to go behind his back.
Yeah.
You know, I will speak to that. So if I speak to a team member that I've spoken to, and then we're in a meeting, and I will be able to tell the players because I've already spoke to that person.
That person will be hearing for the first
From
time.
the first
in that
time, yeah.
meeting.
You know, so, and a lot of people, a lot of African players don't like being swore at. You know, which is something I'm learning. They don't like being told off in a group. You know, but sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to, you know, it builds character. It'll show if that person's got something about him that he can accept it and take it, or does he just drop his head and cry?
Yeah. It's football. It's a hit of. You have to act now, otherwise later on the message is no longer the same.
Nobody, in Kenya, Tanzania, and in South Africa, players won't point fingers at other players. They'll not point fingers at teammates. They'll never shout at them. They'll never complain about them, but they'll talk about them. You know, after the game or during training, they'll talk about them. But the ones when it needs to be, say, hey, by the way, you need to pull your finger out. You know, for example, the 3 goals we conceded. You know, my goalkeeper didn't have a go at Sassman when he gave the penalty away. Nobody had a go at my keeper when he gave the ball away. Nobody's had a go at Kwanda. On the field, nobody's had a go at him. No? But yeah, I have to shout at them. I have to try and keep them motivated. Yeah. You know, but why is a coach having to have a go at them all the time? You know, your players, they've let you down. Yeah. You know? So, yeah, like I say, it's a different culture. Yeah. Like in England, if that was me in my dressing room, and I gave that penalty away, that Sassman gave away, my keeper would batter me. He would come over there literally and thump me. You know, and if that's the same with my goalkeeper, if he kicks the ball and they score from it, I would go to my goalkeeper and I would absolutely nail him. Nail him. Yeah. But no, it's different cultures, different social behaviours, and you've got to accept that. You've got to learn it. You know, you learn from it. But it's always the coach's fault. It's never the players.
Yeah, true. No, thanks once again, Coach, and hope you get a good project. We can't wait to see you on the sidelines again, and we always enjoy watching your teams playing. And from me, TK, this is a wrap with Coach Dylan Kerr. Until we meet on the next episode, keep subscribing, keep sharing, keep commenting. Thank you very much.